What up, good sir?
What's up, man? You ready to do this thing? Let me turn this down. What's up, big fella? How you doing?
We're good. Just chilling. Got your stream open, got another friend's stream open.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Who you watching?
Eternize, if you remember her from my chat once or twice.
I think so.
Yeah, she's doing actually an art stream right now.
An
But,
arch? Yo,
yeah.
drop her in the chat. I haven't set my shout outs up yet, but put a link in there.
So everyone's going on a bit war right now.
For real?
Yeah, she had a hype train like literally like 2 minutes ago.
I'll have to check that out.
She was before, like people got her super distracted working on what she wants to be her next tattoo apparently.
Let's see if it comes up. This internet right now that I got is it's a little shaky. It's a little shaky.
You downgraded to my internet.
No, not really. It's it was here when I got here. Yo, her about page looks flaggy.
Yep, naughty.
Oh, she's using Photoshop. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
teach these motherfuckers about the joys of Clip Studio Paint, cause that Photoshop shit, that's played.
They were talking about a bunch of different things they use for art earlier in the stream, but
Actually,
I'm not an expert on art.
I'm gonna take that back.
Technology.
She is using Clip Studio Paint. She just has it set up to look like Photoshop. That ain't bad.
Ah,
Ain't bad. She's got some good work going on there. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. She need to be getting on those vectors. She needs to be using vector layers.
hmm. What's that specifically? Like, how's that?
All right, so if you don't know what the difference between a vector and a pixel layer. A pixel layer is what you would use for like the finished product. You can't really manipulate it if you shrink it or enlarge it. You lose detail. You lose pixels because the pixels don't change. A vector layer, though, you can stretch it, squash it, do whatever you want to, and it'll add or remove pixels as much as it needs to keep the shape.
Hmm.
And then when you're done with it, you rasterize it. When you rasterize it, that's when it becomes a pixel. That's when it becomes not pixel, but well, yeah, it becomes a pixel-based um, file. But yeah,
Oh,
she definitely need to get on that because it comes out smooth too. That's another thing. Like when I draw, I use vector layers, and it comes out super smooth, super crisp. But yeah, she's
learn
not.
more about this.
She's definitely. I'm gonna throw that in her chat. I feel like I'm critiquing from sidelines though. Also, she could turn on the correction too. That correction, that bro, let me tell you, that correction does a whole lot. Also, like when you see how that she drew that chin in, that little clip that came out right there, that she's erasing, she literally could just turn on an eraser and just boop, it's gone. There's so much that she could do. So much she could do.
You've probably been using this stuff for like what, like
Oh,
almost a decade or more.
a little bit, a little bit. Oh, she can see. She own it. Is she speaking? I can't really hear her.
Yeah, she's just super quiet.
Oh, I'll leave her alone. I feel like I just messed up the whole flow.
You're fine.
Let me turn this dearly beloved off right quick, cause as much as I love this one, I still haven't played this one yet. I haven't, but I've just been on a Kingdom Hearts kick for like a hot minute.
Don't blame me there though. Hella fun.
So I was talking with one of my homeboys um, at work, and we were talking about the theme song that Hikaru Utada did for like all three games, and she did like four of them, but like the primary three, the ones that they used for the opening. Like you go back and you read like some of her interviews, she's like, oh, if this one is the dusk, and this one's the dawn, and this one's the night, and I'm like, nah, bro, like these three are like a relationship, like telling the story of this woman's relationship or the narrator's relationship, and it's the English version of the songs are disappointingly sad. But like if you go back and read the translations for the Japanese versions of the song, it's like they're dating, and the first one, Simple and Clean, is like the narrator is like, look, I just want a relationship with you. I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I just want to be with you. And
I
then
didn't know that about the openings. I
like,
love them though. They're amazing.
oh, it gets better though. Like the second one, which is, we call it Sanctuary, but it's Passion. Passion is um the narrator is like really nervous about like how the relationship's going. Like if you read the translation for it, it's like the narrator is trying to resolve an argument that the two are having, but the two, like the narrator and the companion that they're talking about, they're having a disagreement about like something super simple, like how they're approaching the relationship as a whole. And then like by the end of the song, like if you read it, by the end of the song, the narrator is either receiving a proposal or making a proposal. And then
Mm.
the third one, the third portion, which is we call it Face My Fears, but I think it's called Chiaki. Um, it's about the wedding. Like the two of them are like so sick of the family that they decide that they're like, fuck it, we're gonna elope. Like the whole thing, the whole song is about them eloping. Like we don't need all this extra stuff. All of this stuff is just for your family. We don't need this. Let's just grab our rings and let's go make our vows to each other and let's just get the hell out. I was like, damn. But the ones that we got, like Simple is Clean, is like, okay, look, I don't want to meet your parents. Let's just be us. And then Sanctuary is, it sounds like it's a breakup song.
Mm.
And then Face My Fears is, it sounds like the narrator's broken up with the person in question, and they're struggling to move on. It's like two totally separate stories that are being told, and it's Like the American, the English version is super sad for obvious reasons, but the Japanese version is like, no, we're in this relationship. Oh, you proposed to me. Oh, we're getting married and forget everybody else. I don't want. I'm like, yo, that is hardcore. And then if you kind of dig into Utada's relationship history, it kind of makes a whole lot more sense because she has not had a good run of it.
So it's pretty much essentially another story besides the game story, but within the songs.
Yeah, and even and that's the other part. Like the other awesome part about that is that it fits the relationship that
Uh,
Sora and
yeah.
Kairi actually have. Like at the from the very beginning, it's super obvious that Sora is like madly into Kairi. It's a little weird when it comes to Riku because a lot of people are like, "Oh no, they're totally gay. Like they're totally gay." And it's like, I don't get that. Like the way Sora and Riku are together, I'm like that with my best friend. So I would be really sad if my best friend just started doing some heinously evil shit. I would do everything in my power to try to bring him back from that, and I would expect him to do the same for me. Or if he was gone, you know, and I went looking for him and I finally found him, I would be like, "Oh my god, thank you, dude! Like, where have you been? Like, I have looked everywhere for you." I would feel that exact same way about him. But let's let's say I'm just going to use Blue as an example. I'm not saying that this would happen with Blue, but if Blue and I had the same kind of relationship that Sora and Kyrie had, and I was turning over every stone I could to get back to her, you best believe I'm sharing that Palpu Proot as soon as I get the opportunity to. And her her going through all of those trials and tribulations that she went through just to see Sora again. Like she forgets who he is for 2 years, but she remembers the feelings that she had for him, right? And then when she meets up with him again, she's like, "Oh my God, it's Sora! Hey, let's let's go, let's go help Sora." Like she forgets this man and then remembers who he is, and then she gets a Keyblade and she puts in the work for
True.
this young man,
Uh, True.
only to lose him again. And then she puts herself in a coma for a year to try and find this man. I'm sorry, that three-song story that Hikaru Utada tells us in those openings, I dig it. I stand it. I like the Japanese version of it better because it makes more sense in the
Yeah, it
context of
sounds
the
like it
story.
does.
But in the case of um, in the case of what this girl goes through for this one boy, I'm sorry. They better. She needs a win. I'm sorry. She needs a win.
No, yeah, she does. She absolutely does.
And we're supposed to be getting some dope ass announcements next year. I'm looking forward to that. I hope it's Kingdom Hearts 4 because if we go through this,
And don't they want to do what's the oh my god, what's it called? The
Ver-
cutscene at the end of three
oh,
where
Verum
it's like,
Rex.
yes, aren't they gonna do that first and then maybe four?
I don't think so.
Really?
I genuinely and let me tell you why. Because when we go through some of Tetsuya Nomura's interviews, he's like there will not be an in between game. He's made that very clear. There will not
Really?
be an in between
Thank
game.
God.
His next
Oh,
game is Kingdom Hearts 4. When he gets the opportunity to work on Kingdom Hearts 4, his next game, or well, I should say Kingdom Hearts. He said very clearly, this this is going to be a new era for Kingdom Hearts. There will be less spin-offs. There may be some, but he's got the story ready to go. But there will not be an in-between game in between Kingdom Hearts 3 and Kingdom Hearts 4. There will simply be Kingdom Hearts 4. Now, whether or not Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to be Verum Rex, we'll find out soon enough. But I do not suspect that we will get a Verum Rex standalone game, because the next thing that we're gonna get is the world of reality. So that may be where the Final Fantasy um, versus 13 stuff will get transitioned over. But I genuinely do not expect Kingdom Hearts 59 over 48 seconds kind of type bullshit. Maybe after Kingdom Hearts 4 we might get some weird shit like that, but I do not expect that we would get just a weird standalone in between game that takes too much time, that costs too much money. Financially, that would be incredibly irresponsible, especially right now where we don't have a whole lot of technology that we can really gain access to. He would need to make it so that everybody would be able to play it. And I mean, it's got to be on PS4, PS5, Xbox, Xbox 360, or whatever, Xbox One, or whatever the fuck it's called, and the Switch. He would have to make it
oh.
for all three.
Yeah, you would.
But yeah, there would be absolutely no way that we would be getting an in between game. I mean, Final Fantasy 14 can't even update properly. You can't even get on. You have to go into a queue just to play the game right now. So imagine that for Kingdom Hearts.
No, I'd rather not.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna play this one. Do, 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 do. We're just gonna abruptly switch to that. Actually, I like Tensor Rising better because it is a much more dramatic boss fight song, but this one still slaps. All right, so I watched the new James Bond movie.
Oh, you did.
I did. I did. I did. After finding out what they did to James, I was like, all right, let's do this. I watched it while I was working. And I'm going to be upfront with you about it. I
Mm-hmm.
liked it. I enjoyed it.
Wow.
I liked it a lot, as a matter of fact.
That's
Because
interesting.
now the way that he goes out, though, I was like, okay, I can see why people are upset. But I am gonna go for so I'm gonna go forward and say, if you're upset about that, you're just nitpicking. Absolutely nitpicking about that. This was a good James Bond movie. Um, the one grievance that I did have about this particular Bond movie um, was, um, have you seen it yet?
No, I haven't.
Are you going to watch it?
I don't know if I'm gonna honestly.
Okay. So I'm gonna say spoilers here. The only problem that I had with the movie was James's daughter. That's the only thing that I had. I genuinely had a problem with James not getting to be a dad. The way that they handled his kid was piss poor, in my opinion. Um, Killing James, man. The bullshit with the other 007. I'm gonna be super upfront about that, and I'm gonna give a hot take. James puts her in James puts her in her place a fuck ton throughout the course of the movie, and I enjoyed every second of it because the woman that comes in and replaces him is fucking arrogant, and he takes her out like she's trash because she's a shitty agent. She is absolutely a shitty agent. She refuses to listen to him, and then when she starts to listen to him, super too late. He's like, "Yo, I got some shit to teach you because you don't know what the fuck's going on." Like, there's a point in the movie, bro, where they're after the same asset, and James walks all over her. I'm talking about like he's being super smooth. He has a Bond girl with him while he is doing this shit, and the Bond girl is taking care of business. Meanwhile, the new 007 is getting fucked over so hard over a barrel. No Vaseline, bro. And James is just like, all right, you fixing to get this dude killed. Let me just come up here and steal you. All right, I've stolen this dude. Oh, he got away. Now you're getting it my way. Now I'm gonna start fucking with you. And the way that he puts her in the most simplistic trap that she should have been able to get out of, based off of the way that they establish how these double O's work, bro. He literally he's like, yo, let me just get these police involved real quick so that I can get out of here. His Bond girl literally smashes a car through a fucking building. The two of them get out of it, walk away with the asset scot free, and the Bond chick is like, all right, I'm gonna do my spy thing. I'm out. I'll see you later. Good luck, and just clean breaks out. Meanwhile, the new 007 is like stuck in a fucking tree, like, help, help, I can't get out. I was like, you're supposed to be the better version. And this man is walking circles around you. And he does shit like that to her, like, all the way through the movie. And I was just like, alright, I can see you. They didn't neuter Bond. And then when they kill him, you kind of feel bad about it. But he goes out like a G. And I did not hate it. I did not hate any aspect of that. Bond showed up for work. He was late, as usual, as you would expect. He took care of business, and he did the right thing. And then, he got out. Now, whether or not he'll be back, I don't know. But what I do know is that James Bond showed up, and the new 007 didn't understand the assignment.
Have you seen the new Eternals yet?
That one's on the list.
Okay.
I have not heard anything bad about it, but I
I've
haven't
heard
heard anything
mixed.
good.
I've earlier today someone went and saw it and they told me that it was good. They didn't say anything else, but they just said it was good.
Mhm.
And then my sister told me about one of her friends who went and saw it and said it wasn't good at all.
And that's honestly that's what I've been hearing, and I've been kind of like holding off. Also, I've this new Phase 4. Like, the only thing of the Phase 4 stuff that I have seen um has been the um the Loki TV show, um the Captain America and um Winter Soldier TV show. I still haven't seen Shang-Chi, um, and I haven't seen the Eternals yet. But I hear Shang-Chi is good, or Shang-Chi is good. Um, but I'm hearing a whole lot of mixed reviews about um, the Eternals, and they're one one of um, the little end credits was spoiled for me. Um, None of it has anything to do with Thanos. Thanos is not even in the movies. Um, the X gene doesn't come up, which is really concerning to me because that's one of the things that introduces the X Men is the Eternals um, have um, have a whole lot to do with the X gene just popping up, and they didn't even talk about that from what I understand. So uh kind of like meh on it right now. I
Makes
mean,
sense.
I am looking forward to Spider-Man, and I am looking forward
Yep.
to um, Doctor Strange.
Yep. Same. Those are the only ones I'm looking forward to. I went and saw the new Venom.
Oh,
It
that's
was
another one that I haven't seen, but I hear now Venom's in the MCU as well.
he's getting added to it. Yeah, that was that. That gets old.
Which I'm like, okay, well, one, he should have already been in the MCU
Mm-hmm.
anyway.
He should have. Yeah.
Um, the fact that he's fixing to cross over with Tom Holland, I'm like, all right, cool, fine, whatever. Um, Especially since we're on this multiversal jump right now. But I'm gonna be real honest. Like until the movies start kicking off, I kind of don't care. Um, I love the Marvel TV series so far, but beyond that, I'm just kind of like, when the good stuff coming out? Like Loki was amazing. Uh, Winter Soldier was amazing. But that was like watching 6 hour movies, and so far they haven't put out anything I really care to see. So I'm waiting in the wings for like that dope spill to drop. Like Spider-Man might be good. It might be bad. I don't know. What I do know is we're getting two Spider-Mans next year.
Three.
Three. We
Oh, you're talking about the. Okay, never mind. You're
cuz we're
talking about movies.
yeah. Yeah, we're getting No Way Home, and we're getting Into the Spider-Verse 2 next year.
Oh, that one should be very good.
So I'm looking forward to that. But that's gonna take a hot minute, right? And I'm willing to wait for that. But at the end of the day, it's those are the only things that really pique my interest.
Yeah,
That
same.
and I'm waiting on Spider-Man 2 to come out for the PlayStation, which I can't play because I don't have PlayStation 5. So you know that's on the thing too. So it's a whole lot of shit that I'm waiting on. But um, yeah, right now I'm just kind of waiting for something to interest me. And right now, for me, um, I want the X Men. The X Men were my jam. You know, this I've been waiting. I had to wait almost 10 years for a Black Panther movie, and then Black Panther came out, and that kicked ass, took some names, and now I'm like, yo, let's get in on this gay rights right now because that's what the X Men was about. It's about gay rights. So I'm like, yo, let's get in on that. Let's watch some X Men. Let's see Wolverine cut some shit up. And now we're just kind of like, boy, I hope them X Men come out.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't set that out. Okay, well, boy, I hope they do Blade.
Yeah. Give me
We got him
Blade.
cast.
Give me Blade.
I will say this. I'm gonna be real upfront. Um, I am Team Wesley Snipes,
Yup.
and if Wesley Snipes is not cast as Whistler, y'all can miss me with that. Oh, I didn't even realize that my camera wasn't even centered right. Let me fix that. But yeah, if if they don't cast West, just even throw him a bone. Like, give him a cameo, okay? Give him a cameo. But honestly, if they don't cast him as Whistler, that's a hugely missed opportunity, as far as I'm concerned.
Yup.
Like, there's literally no excuse, no excuse. Also, that Morbius trailer, I was kind of like,
I
eh.
haven't even seen it. I didn't even look at it all yet.
I mean, it could be better, but also it's early footage, so it is what
Right.
it is. And then apparently Disney was supposed to have their Disney Plus day today, and I'm just kind of like, whatever, dude. Do you think? I mean, right now I'm just content having Sora and Smash Ultimate. Anything beyond that, right now, I just don't care. But that's what's been up for me. Oh yeah, I watched the closer for Dave Chappelle. Um,
Oh, I haven't watched it yet.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I thought that shit was funny. Um, and I'm gonna give a hot take. I agree with his point about a specific community punching down. I see it a lot. I have experienced it a lot. And I will be even more forthcoming. Like, anybody that is not looking at this as a racial issue as opposed to a gender thing, a discussion about gender, did not watch the closer at
I
all.
haven't watched it all yet, so I'm a clean slate on it. I don't even know anything about it at all. I just know that I heard people were mad about something, but I
Yeah,
didn't read anything onto it.
and it's not like it's not people specifically. It's a specific community of people whose voices do need to be heard. I will be super upfront about that. But um, there are members of that community that do tend to silence voices for saying things that they don't like, and I'm not about that. I don't like censorship. I think both sides of that fence should be able to say and do what they need to do as long as they're not harming each other in the process. Um, I think they need to be able to speak. I do not believe that words are violence. I'm sorry, I just don't. People call me a nigger all the time. Hard R, hard ER, all the time, and I don't lose my shit over that.
I think they can create them, but the words themselves are not violence.
And if we're gonna go down that road, that's still a human being doing something to another person. They should be held responsible. They should be held utterly responsible for that.
Yep.
Like this asshole Kyle Rittenhouse, this motherfucker. I had a discussion with some folks at work um, about him. The guy that I had this discussion with, I had to tell him point blank. I was like, let's switch these roles real quick. If if he, there if he was out protesting and I showed up with an AR-15 and I shot two people and injured one in the process, I would be in jail. Not only would I be in jail, my trial would have been in the court of public opinion, and that wouldn't have gone well. And then on top of that, I would have had a trial that would have been grossly unfair. And that's if I survived this situation. I wouldn't have been able to drive back home. with my gun, I wouldn't have even been able to leave because the police officers would have arrested me for killing two people.
Yep.
And I watched this boy, not a man. I watched this boy cry on the stage yesterday. I was offended. I was offended
I
because,
saw LeBron tweet about it.
and he's right. That's the thing that people keep forgetting is that this is a issue where a uh, a Caucasian man shot two other Caucasian people protesting, and they're treating those other two Caucasian people as if they were black. This judge is refusing to allow certain terms to be said in his courtroom. In his courtroom. And instead of him doing, and this is the thing that really pissed me off about what I watched yesterday, this motherfucker had his cell phone on.
The judge?
Oh, you didn't see it? Hold on, let me
No,
pull
I
this.
haven't seen it.
Yo,
I
let me
saw
let me pull this shit up, bro.
um
Let me
I
pull
saw
this
the
shit up.
judge yell at the prosecutor for what was the word he said? It was something with a B. Brazen, I think. For being brazen with him.
Yep,
That's it. That's all I saw.
bro. Let me pull this shit up for you, cause this is the thing that I was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Hold on, let's turn on the audio.
Let me turn this up.
This is ridiculous. You know, wasn't excluded, John. You know why it was excluded in the first place? Because it was propensity evidence. That is exactly what 90404 is designed to prevent. You're talking about his attitudes. His attitude is he wants to shoot people. Now, I've admitted that kind of evidence in other trials when it's been appropriate. I didn't admit it in this case because, to me, what I've heard in this trial, and by the way, Mr. Richards absolutely correctly points out that just hours ago I said I had heard nothing in this trial to change any of my rulings. So why?
Testimony, Your Honor.
Pardon me?
That was before the
Don't
defense testimony.
get brazen with me. Uh,
Let me pause this right
you
here, dude.
knew very well.
Let me pause this right
You
here, cause okay, so so this this kid sitting like on this side of the screen from the judge here gives testimony that he was in no immediate danger, right? And then the gentleman who's about to get reamed by the judge asks a question to this young man. If you were in no further danger and the police have already blocked off the area, why didn't you go home? And the judge stops the entire trial to have this interaction right here with them. And the prosecution is calling him out on his bullshit. Just flat out calling him out on his bullshit. Because the prosecution in this particular case is not able to make the case that they need to prove that this young man was in no immediate danger and he should not have been where he was in the first place. And the judge keeps stopping the trial to tell them how they're supposed to litigate the trial. He keeps removing evidence. He keeps bringing up the fact that he ruled that the evidence is not allowed in this, and that's what this particular discussion is about, because the young man admitted he shouldn't have been where he was supposed to be, and they want to bring up and bring in evidence of his prior convictions showing, and his, not just his prior convictions but his prior interactions that he himself has videotaped saying that he was going to do a similar act. that he wanted to do and perform a similar act. And this judge keeps telling them, you can't bring that up. I've already ruled that you can't bring that up. And that's what's getting discussed here, and that's the thing that pisses me off the most, because it's substantial evidence. Their job at this point is to prove that he had intent and that his prior actions led to this intent, and this judge keeps fucking stonewalling them at every turn. And they're calling him out right now for saying, dude, you are literally, he literally has a history of this, and you're telling us we're not supposed to consider it. And that's what's really frustrating about this entire situation, because any other judge, regardless of what side of the base he bats on, would have allowed that evidence to be looked at because it establishes character. I've been sued before, and these people were trying to dig into my past to establish character, to assassinate me in court, in a courtroom, to make it seem like I was a negligent human being. That evidence should be admissible to establish that that young man had a motive, and his character showed that he had a motive to do what he did. And exempting evidence like that is completely unnecessary. And this young man is not getting a fair trial. He's not getting a fair trial because this judge is stacking the deck in
Sounds
his
like it.
favor.
Yep, it definitely sounds like it.
Know very well that an attorney can't go into these types of areas when the judge has already ruled without asking outside the presence of the jury to do so. So don't give me that.
Oh, that's another thing. He sent the jury out of the room so that he could yell at them for doing this. That's another thing. That is another thing. He kicked the jury out so that they could have this discussion. The fuck is going on here? This is like a fucking kangaroo court.
That's number one.
How old is this kid
Number
again?
two.
Like, what's his exact age?
He's 18 now.
18?
He was 17 at the time that he killed those two people.
Between talking about wishing you had your AR gun, which you don't have, so that you could fire rounds at these thought to be shoplifters.
What he's talking about is what would be used to establish character, to establish intent. And that's the part that's fucked up. Like, I don't understand how he could even say this right here and not realize that what he is doing is rigging the fucking trial. Unless he's doing this intentionally. And that's the thing that makes me so mad. Because if that young man sitting next to him was a black boy, you can best believe they would be using that video to establish that this kid had poor character and ill intent. That's what's fucked up. This right here, that this phrase that this young man, this judge just uttered is exactly what people of color have been trying to get America to look at for centuries.
Fire rounds at these thought to be shoplifters. And the incidents
What state is this being?
I think it's Connecticut.
There's nothing in your case that suggests the defendant was lying in wait to shoot at somebody, or reflecting upon the shooting for a vast amount of time. Every one of the incidents involves.
Is this the highest court for the state?
Nope.
No. Oh, okay.
Nope.
So I don't.
Just the. I'm guessing whatever city or town.
And I don't see the similarity now.
And that's the other thing. I don't think the trial itself is even happening in the jurisdiction where the shooting happened.
Crimes that involve instantaneous.
Everything about this entire thing is just
premeditated
weird.
Murder or whether self-defense, that's for the jury to decide. But I don't see the similarity. I said it couldn't come in, and it isn't coming in. No matter what you think. Number two, I have to be concerned that with what Mr. Richards has said about the progress of the trial, and when you were I said you were over the line and close to or over the line on commenting on the defendant's pretrial silence, which is a well-known rule. I'm astonished that would have been an issue. So I don't want to have another issue as long as this case continues. Is that clear?
It is.
Thank you. Ask the jury to come back in, please.
There have been numerous occasions during this trial.
Hold on. That's not the one where the dude's phone goes off. There's one with the dude. Yells at the prosecutor. Judge snaps at the prosecutor. Rittenhouse cries on the stand. Judge pauses trial. Oh yeah, that's another thing. The dude cried on the stand and the judge paused. Stopped the entire court proceeding to let this boy compose himself. The fuck is going on with that? Never in my life have I seen that before.
I've heard stuff like that happen before, but I don't. It's never been a case where someone has taken a life.
Nope.
There's no point if someone's taken a life. I'm sorry, that's stupid.
Hold on. So I watched a video this morning where this dude was like, "Yo, tempers flare." Oh yeah, the prosecution is trying to adjudicate the case, and the defense is trying to demand a mistrial. Let me see if I can. I may have to play a different video because I just watched it this morning and I was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Trial on defense. That's commentary. 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 There's a whole bunch of commentary going on about this. Click a judge and oh, I think it was this one. Hold on.
You better ask the court, you better get permission. This is ridiculous.
You're talking about his attitudes? His attitude is he wants to shoot people. Now, I've admitted that kind of evidence in other trials when it's been appropriate. I didn't admit it in this case because, to me, what I've heard in this trial, and by the way, Mr. Richards, absolutely.
I'm going to skip the commentary part.
You knew very well. You know very well that an attorney can't go into these types of areas when the judge has already ruled without asking outside the presence of the jury to do so.
Okay, I was going to say
So don't give me that. That's number one. Number two, this is propensity evidence. I said at the time, and the incidents in wait to shoot at somebody.
This judge interjects himself at every possible moment when the prosecution rattles this murder. Rittenhouse killed 2 people in cold blood. He went to Kenosha looking for a hunt. He was strapped and ready for war, and he even brought body armor. You don't bring body armor when you're to protect your friend's store. Now, I know he wasn't wearing body armor at the time of the shooting, but he packed it nevertheless. This case is about as open and shut as it gets. We have video evidence prior, during, and after the shooting.
We're going to skip that then. I will have to find that and send it to you like via DM because when that cell phone, dude, they have a video where this dude, he literally he plays like This Is America or some weird God Bless America, like that's his ringtone, and he literally just takes his phone and he's like, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck? This motherfucker's wilding out right now. But yeah, dude, like I'm gonna be real up front. This kid's getting off. We all know that this kid's getting off.
Yeah, he
Um,
is. Quickly.
I would be shocked if the jury came back and was like, yeah, we find him guilty on all three counts. I would be like, what the fuck happened here? Because the way that this whole thing is being handled right now is just it's fucking nuts. There's no way, no way that if there was um, a black child sitting on that stand, that this would be happening in the way that it's happening.
Why?
Hold on. I think this might have
Why
been the one.
is he more of a threat to you than you are
Oh,
to
this
him?
right here. Okay, this right
Kyle
here is
Rittenhouse, who
lit.
is currently on trial on a number of charges, including the deaths of 2 individuals, went on.
I'm sorry, Rational National, but I am gonna skip that.
Crowd that are asking you why you just shot someone, right?
Yes.
And you told him he had a gun.
At the time, I was a little dazed, and I was thinking of Mr. Zeminski with the pistol he had at the Duramax.
So you shot Mr. Rosenbaum because Joshua Zeminski had a pistol?
No.
You don't get to shoot someone else. You don't get to shoot someone else because someone else has a
No.
gun, right?
No.
But you told the crowd he had a gun, didn't you?
That's what I said.
And that wasn't true. Mr. Rosenbaum never had a gun, right?
He didn't have a gun.
So here, Kyle
So
Rittenhouse is
that's
admitting
the
to
first
lying.
thing. And then he's got another part in here. Please fast forward this.
Correct?
Yes.
And at this particular moment, he's not pointing his
Go
gun
back
at
like
you,
a couple
is he?
seconds.
Not at that moment.
That's a handgun, right?
It just shot 2 people. So this gets to the heart of that.
That's a handgun, right?
Yes.
And you have an AR-15, correct?
Yes.
And at this particular moment, he's not pointing his gun at you, is he?
Not at that moment.
But you've got your gun pointed at him, correct?
Looking at the video, I think I'm lowering my weapon. I think it's just a still shot of where you have it to where that, but I believe in the whole video I'm lowering it, and then he points his gun at me.
Can you help me understand, Mr. Rittenhouse, why Gage Grosskreutz, with a pistol in his hand, is a threat to kill you, but you, with an AR-15 pointed at him, is not a threat to kill him at this moment? Can you help me understand that?
I've been attacked by several people, and he decided to come and point a gun at my head. Well, first,
He hasn't done that yet, has he?
no.
Caught him in a lie, bro.
So again, I ask you,
Caught
in
him in a
this
lie,
moment,
bro.
you
Yeah.
told us Gage Grosskreutz is a threat to you right now.
Yes.
He's got a pistol not aimed at you. You've got an AR-15 aimed at him. Why is he more of a threat to you than you are to him?
Because he was moving at me with a gun in his hand.
This is right after you've killed Anthony Huber, correct?
Yes.
Right after you fired 2 shots at almost point-blank range at the man running towards the camera right now and missing him, correct?
Yes.
And you're telling us Gage Grosskreutz is the real threat at this moment?
Yes.
So look here how Rittenhouse tries to play the victim. That he was.
Let me skip that. I think there's one more. But like they straight up caught him. That dude straight up caught him in a lie. And that's the other part. That's the other part. It's like, yo, you could tell this kid. Tell this kid is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's not where he was. They're not even asking him like the actual tough question. They're talking to him about the event, but they're not asking him the actual tough question. You're a 17-year-old. You're in the United States. You are not allowed to have a gun until you're 18. That is part of your constitutional right. You are not allowed to have a gun until you're 18 unless it was purchased for you by an adult. He got this gun by himself. He used his own money to buy this gun. Someone had to make that purchase for him, and he then took that gun across state lines. So that's gun running right there that they could get him
Yep.
for. So you have minor in possession of an illegally purchased firearm, which is a felony, and then you have transport of said item across state lines. So you have an unregistered weapon crossing state lines, which is gun running, which is a felony itself. But nobody is asking him, actually, nobody's even asking his mother, why was your son out by himself? Because if I understand correctly, there is a curfew. There was a curfew at the time. There was an enforced curfew at the time. So you have an unaccompanied minor with a unregistered weapon crossing state lines, so that's gun running. You literally you have three felonies, one of which would be applied to his mother. The other two would be applied to him directly. Nobody's asking the question, what were you doing out of your house after a curfew? What were you doing outside of a residence where you were supposed to be staying, assuming you were allowed to travel on your own? Why were you out after curfew? The same question could be asked of this Gage person that survived the encounter, but Gage is an adult, so you have got two wrongs that don't make it right here. But Gage is a grown ass adult. If nothing else, the police could have arrested him for being out after a curfew, after a enforced curfew,
For sure.
and that's a whole different discussion that would need to be had with Gage. Okay, but regardless, you have a minor, an unaccompanied minor, out after a curfew that's being enforced by the law, and nobody is asking why he was out. Why was he not in the state he should have been in? Where was his mother? And why was he not with her? This man, this young man, this boy, has a legally purchased firearm, and depending on the laws, because they're saying his defense is saying that he legally purchased a AR-15 because the law applies specifically to pistols. Okay, well, let's say that he purchased the firearm at legally. Okay, so he purchases the firearm legally. Okay, he still crossed state lines with a weapon. What you are not supposed to do is you have to have it registered in the state that you're in.
Yeah. Yep.
So they still have him for gun running, or at least the ownership of an illegally registered firearm or an unregistered firearm, still a felony. So he still has a felony charge on him. And then he's out after curfew, which is another felony. And then
They
he's got
haven't. Do they have an idea of when this is expected to be included?
I don't know, to be quite honest. It may be an expedited trial because of the way things are being handled right now. But regardless, this child, this child is gonna get off simply because he he's being helped by the person who's supposed to be uh, impartial. Like they would not even allow, and this is the fucked up thing. They did not even allow a black member to be on his jury.
What?
The person, the two individuals who were killed were two black people, and there is not a single black juror. They removed all of the black jurors from this jury
Stupid.
with judicial precedent, which, okay, cool, fine, whatever. Um, That's used a lot to get um, a lot of different people off, particularly black folks, off of juries. Regardless, though, this there's nothing that the judge could do about it because that's something that has to be handled at the congressional level. So cool, fine. He got out, but does not change does not change the fact that there is an impartial jury with an impartial judge trying the case where a young white man killed two black people and and injured another white individual during a protest for black people. So when it comes down to the nuts and bolts of this, if this dude gets any jail time, I will be shocked. I will
Yeah,
absolutely be shocked. But he will not go down. That's where my money is. He will not see a day in jail.
it seems to be definitely leading that way for sure.
And we let this happen. All of that protesting we did last year, all of the people that we put into power, and we have two individuals who are actively stopping the progress because they can. And that's our system. That's the system that we have in place right now. And that fucking sucks. Play something else. So yeah, that's. And then and it, lower this volume rate. Put this right here in the middle. But yeah, so I had to sitting here watching that while I'm trying to get my living situation situated, and that turned out a lot better than I thought it was going to.
Oh yeah, this is pretty nice.
I mean, it still needs work. I still have to unpack these boxes and make sure that I put everything in its proper place. But I mean, I got a weird leather chair in here. Takes up a fuck ton of space, but I don't really have anywhere to put it. So if I put it outside, there's nowhere to like actively sit it, and then I don't even know what I would do with this leather chair, but it's just in here. It's weird, but I got everything else in here. I was actually thinking about taking this drawer and like moving it outside, um, just because I don't need it, but it kind of brings the room together. So I'm like, it's not that bad. And I have two closets. Like I have this closet like right here, and then I have like one that's right in front of me, which is, I mean, they're like coat closets, but I have two closets. um, I did see my brother and sister's place, and that like I walked in because I hadn't ever seen the inside of it. And I walked in, I was like, holy shit, this place is actually better than your other place. And they were like, it's small. I'm like, no, the rooms are small, but this place is fucking amazing. Like, like they have this big, like, they have this big living area. And they have like their couches and stuff set up, but they have like this sliding glass door that leads out to this really small backyard. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of quaint. But like even the small backyard, it's like it's long, but it's not like width wise. It's not very, or it's
My father
spatial
has a
wise. It's not.
backyard just like that, what you're describing.
But like it looks cool. It looks really cool. Like everything's like super dark, super black. And I was like, yo, this is a goth's dream house. This place is awesome. But like right now, all their stuff is just kind of piled up everywhere, and I'm like, this place is gonna be lit when they get it all fixed up and put everything where they want it. It's gonna be fire. But like they got these marble countertops that are black, and then like their cabinets are all black, and everything's like all new. Like they have this refrigerator. The refrigerator, I love their refrigerator. So it's like I love their old refrigerator, but this refrigerator is lit. So like most refrigerators have like the two doors, and then you got the drink and the ice, like the water and the ice into the door. This one, like you open it up and there's like a fucking button that you just press on the side, and water comes out. I'm like, oh, this is so much more convenient. I'm looking on the other side. I'm like, I hope there's ice here, and there's not. But oh man, it would be so cool if it was. But yeah, I love their new place. It's actually really cool. Um, if if I have the opportunity to live in a house like that, I am going to ball out. Buy all black furniture, um, all black, like shelves and shit. Like his oh my god, my brother's living room is boss. Like you have you seen those like IKEA um like those little IKEA advertisements? Come by our how to pronounce named um item, and then it's like a giant wall full of shelves. My brother has that, but he did that with his desk and a bunch of other shelves. Like like I had seen he had it stashed in his office, but like seeing it set up, I'm like, dude, this shit looks like a fucking IKEA model house. Like this place is so cool. He's like, oh, it's just my desk and like a bunch of shelves. I'm like, this shit is still fire, bro. Like this is fucking awesome. But yeah, if I were ever to take you over to take anybody over to see it, you'd be like, yo, this is so cool. And they just happen to find it. It doesn't meet all of their needs, but it is still cool as shit, and it's super spacious. And seeing their couch setup and their like their little their eating area setup, I'm like, yo, this is really good. It's like right next to the kitchen, it's a couple of steps, and got birds and everything set up. Like everything has a place. It's so nice, so nice. And hopefully the situation will uh, go in their favor, so that the stress is relieved, because they were the whole situation that we were all in was super duper stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And now that everything's starting to slow down a little bit, everything's just kind of ebbing and flowing. Things seem to be kind of getting where they need to be. Um,
Good.
Tomorrow I'm gonna get up super early and go help them get the rest of their shit out of the old place. The landlord, I finally saw this asshole today, and I was just like, man, fuck this douche canoe. Like this guy is a fucking twat, and I understand why they don't like him, because this dude's a piece of work, man. This dude's a real piece of work, but it is what it is. Um, we're gonna get him out of there tomorrow. Everybody's just gonna move on with their lives, but like this, I will say this. I will. Hopefully, my next move will be really far off, and it won't be as dire as this one, because I found this place and it meets my needs, but at the same time, it was a fucking train wreck just to get here. And then I got here and moved in, and there was a motherfucker smoking meth in the room. I was like, yo, what the fuck is going on here? Talking to the landlady, dude, and she was trying to get him out, and that took some effort. I was like, yo, like this motherfucker's in here smoking some rocks, and we can't have that. Like just because of the work I do, like this mother, like you need to do something about it. And they the other roommates complained about him. They evicted him, and they got somebody else in here. I want to say a couple of days ago. So that new guy's pretty chill. Actually, all of my new roommates are actually really chill. So I'm glad to hear them when they move around, because just it kind of makes me feel better knowing that there's somebody else in the house.
I can get that feeling.
Not that living with my brother and sister didn't. It was they have a particular routine, and being able to kind of see their routine, it made me feel better. It made me feel safe. Um, I actually really enjoyed living with them quite a bit. It just the they were like clockwork. I will say that much, and I enjoyed that a lot. Um, I actually started changing my sleeping habits just a little bit so that I could be in the ebb and flow that they have, I felt a lot better living with them. So I was super happy. Um, and then when the fucking landlord came over and started wrecking the shit above us, like, you know what? If I ever see this guy, and the family was like, nah, dude, don't do it. Don't do nothing. If you see him, if you happen to walk by him, don't say nothing to him. I was like, all right, I'll keep the peace. I finally saw what he looked like today. I was like, I actually expected him to be taller, but he's a piece of shit. Definitely a piece of shit. So we're gonna clean the place up tomorrow. Clean the place out. Do the carpets and shit, and then walk away.
Nice.
The guy, or the oh, this dude. Okay, so here's super shady shit. This fucker shows up. This dude shows up after giving us an extension, because we have like the entire downstairs basement that we had to clean out. And this motherfucker's like, okay, well, I'll give you another day to do what you need to do. And we're like, all right, cool. And he's like, but I still want to come by. And I'm like, why though? And my brother was like, well, he just wants to see where we're at. And I'm like, but like, why though? And everybody that was there, it's like, just because he's a prick. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's fair, but seriously though, why? There's no need for him to come by. And this dude shows up and he starts walking through the house, and it's like,
Fuck that shit. There's subtle things that you could do that are just like pointless.
oh,
There's no need.
I was literally telling my family, I was like, I could go. I have my pictures of my nieces and nephew, because we're like, I call them my family, but we're not actually blood related. But I was like, I could go around and find like uh, little like what are they called, like picture stands, and I could just put pictures of me, my nieces, and my nephew around the house. And they were like, why would you do that? I was like, because it lowers the property value. And they looked at me funny. I was like, no, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. If an appraiser came over here and saw pictures of black kids, they would rate this house lower than they would without them. And they were like, please don't do that. I was like, no, I'm like at this point where I really want to do that, because it would fuck up the amount that this asshole would be getting for this place that we were living in. It's like, if we were petty, I would totally do it. Like every step of the way, it's just like I could be so petty right now. I could just be super petty. But cooler heads have prevailed, and I have tried very, very hard to be super nice. It's been a challenge, but I've been doing all right. But I'm here. My brother and sister and his family. Uh, their family, they're where they need to be, and we just need to get some large things taken to the dump tomorrow and clean the carpets, and they are free of the burden of that particular house. And I'm super excited for them.
Let's put some gravy on it.
The fuck, gravy? The hell? That's weird. Anyway, um, so that's what I've been dealing with for this past couple of weeks. So much so that I haven't even worked on any of the art that I was supposed to work on. I got all the way through making the avatars for the book club, and I also, this is a time of year when I start getting super depressed, and I started working on the avatars for the book club and almost finished them when all of this stuff blew up, and I just could not do it. I could not bear to sit down and draw, so I just kind of shut down. So I actually ended up stopping stopped streaming earlier than I wanted to. Like, I had beaten the game. I had yours and Munchies. Yours and Munchies were the last two avatars that I actually needed to finish, and I just couldn't do it. Couldn't get it done. And it really fucking sucked because I really, really liked the way that they all came out. I actually need to get all of you guys in a group chat so that we can all sit down and decide when we're gonna do the next one.
Right. No, yeah. I was actually gonna ask it sometime soon.
I'm thinking we're gonna skip November. If I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it would probably be best if we skip November and maybe even December, especially since we have that run on holidays like towards the end of the month, and give and pick up in January, because right now, I can tell you right now that Raven has her family she needs to shop for, so I can tell you right now she's gonna be super busy. And then same thing with Lou. I don't know what Ghost is doing. I don't know how he celebrates Christmas, but I'm pretty certain that he's got some of his own stuff going on with his family. So November, December may cause a lot of conflict with everybody, but I want to sit down with everybody and be like, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna go ahead and skip and move on to the next one. I still want us to play BioShock Infinite, because Blue's definitely been looking forward to that. Also, since Christmas is coming up, everybody may have Christmas money to buy their versions, their preferred versions on their preferred platforms. So we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, that we may just reconvene that on January. But I do want to get all you guys on a phone call. I'm gonna see if we can do it next week, and that way we can all just sit and chat and be like, hey guys, what's going on? Well, here's what I've been going through, blah 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 blah, and just kind of sit and chit chat, because we all haven't spoken in a while.
Right.
And then see where we want to go. Also, we need to figure out how to get Munchie on, because I really did want to work with. I definitely wanted to work with her. Let's see what kind of game she is wanting to play.
We got old nerd in chat.
Oh, hey nerd, what's up, brother? How you been?
And the bot doesn't like him putting exclamation points.
Fuck that bot. Oh, I keep forgetting to remove that fucking bot. Fuck that bot, for real. I'm having some trouble functioning. I don't care. Getting rid of you, Streamlabs. What's up, nerd? How you been, man? This is gonna be just chatting today. We were talking about that Rittenhouse bullshit that's going on and getting some things off my chest. It's good to be seen, my man. It's good to be seen. I wanted to kind of get back in the groove. I've been doing like little ninja streams here and there, so I wanted to just get on and do some chatting with you guys and see what the pulse was. Trying to. Oh shit! I just realized I just promoted Eternal Eternity's stream in in Munchie's chat, but I didn't promote my own when I was trying to promote my own. Oh, that's so funny.
Sorry, say again real quick. I don't know, it's just came down to tell me something.
Oh, I just promoted Eternity's chat instead of promoting my own, and now I can't promote my own chat in Munchie's stream. I'm so bad.
They're gonna be switching batteries for some smoke alarms here, so I'm gonna be muting myself while they do that.
Cool beans. Cool beans.
Alright, muting myself for a little bit.
Thank you for showing up, nerd. I'm glad that you could drop in, man. It's always good to see you. When are you doing your next stream, my guy? Like, I wanted to pop into your stream too and just shoot the sheets, see what's going on, see what's happening in your world. I have not gotten a single notification about your stream in a while, my guy. Also, we need to get you in the book club. We need to get you on the book club, my guy. I gotta get you into the book club. We're supposed to be doing Bioshock this month. Pause that real quick. Bring up my live feed. Hopefully tomorrow. Well, what are you gonna be playing, my guy? Cause Bounty got me the Master Chief Collection. I've been going through that, and I say that as a person who thoroughly enjoys Halo. I really like Halo a lot. I love the lore particularly, and there's a lot of it. But if you got the Master Chief Collection, man, come on, man. We need to get you. We need to get you off of that game. Well, I will not mention. Get you into something else. I mean, I'm glad that you love it. I'm glad that you enjoy it. I'm glad that you have so many customizable skills that you can use in it. But we need to expand your gaming diet. We need to expand your gaming diet. It's not healthy to consume one type of game. We got to get you out there and playing more. I mean, you played the Division. You could play some Halo with us. Not multiplayer. I don't do multiplayer. I hate the multiplayer so much. But we could play Halo story campaign with you. these right now. Okay, okay, that's fair. It's fair. But that's why you could stream. You could do it on my stream. We could play some Halo campaign on my screen, and then um, actually, what I really want to do, what I really would like to do, is to get everybody together and play some Final Fantasy 14. I would really like to do that. I think you would enjoy it, particularly the customization aspect of it. You and Blue both. Um, I think you guys would like it a lot. Uh, I mean, why not though? That would be fun. We get to go out, like, guys. You can buy a house. You can buy a house. You care? You can't do that in the other game that you guys play. But you could buy a house. So much so that they have a housing crisis in game that the developers cannot fix. That would be so much fun. Also, I get to ride around on a motorcycle. Oh, please do. I will totally run through it with you. I will totally run through it with you. Like, I have an advanced job, but I would totally run you around, be like, let's go do this. And I think the level cap is like level 30. That's dude, that's like 50 hours of gameplay right there that you could do. And I think your first month is like free. So an entire month to experience the game. Come on, do it, do it. It'd be a lot of fun. If you're interested, that I will totally jump on board with you, and we could go on some dope ass adventures. Also, it's really easy to get lost. I got to a point where I was having to do um, something in this casino called the Golden Saucer, and I stayed there for like 2 days because the little mini games that they have there is so much fun. With the exception of the platforming, when the platforming one is terrible, it's so annoying. But I digress. I think you would like it. You don't get to run around in an Iron Man suit, but you do get to do some pretty dope stuff. And I think we would all have a great time. Granted, I'm not doing a very good job of selling it, mostly because I haven't played it in like 2 weeks, but adulting has transpired um, quite a bit. I okay. So the next thing on my agenda is really just to get rid of these friggin' bots.
I think you're done. So,
Cool.
but yeah, that's so funny. The other bot.
I have. I just I the thing like we actually talked about this like when I first started streaming. I am I am not a fan of EA. I'm really not. They have very few things that I will give them praise for. Anthem is not one of them.
Who? Bioware?
Yeah, not well, particularly EA.
Okay,
BioWare could somehow or another get off from under EA. I would have so much more respect for them. But
agreed.
EA as a company, um, it just I have the same problem with them that I have with Activision Blizzard and Bobby Kotick. They 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 don't put out. I've already played yours, my friend. So go download Final Fantasy 14 and play it, my guy. I've already played yours. I don't like it. I'm sorry. I have a very distinct problem with the gameplay loop, and it's not even the fact that you can only do like the same missions over and over. This game had a lot of potential. I really wanted to like Anthem. I really did. But I feel like Anthem was sold as a bill of goods. I'm sorry to say that. But it does count. Oh, it most certainly does count because I let me say this. Let me say this. I do not believe in giving my money to a company that lies to its customers.
Yeah. Uh,
I vehemently cannot support a company that actively lies to its customers. And I have watched you play. The gameplay is exactly the way I remember it. My problem with Anthem is that the game itself was supposed to come out. What's to okay? Okay, well, let me finish my point, and then I want to have. Yes, yes, they do. They all lie, every last one of them. But here's the thing. Let me. All right. You firing shots. So let me lock and load and fire back. Here's the thing about 343. Okay, 343 listens to their fan base. You're not buying Halo to play multiplayer. Halo's multiplayer is good by itself. If they split the two off and sold them, you'd be getting exactly what's on the tin. You're gonna if you buy the campaign, you're playing as Master Chief and you're doing stuff and you're playing as a Superman in a giant robot suit. And that's okay if that's what you showed up for Halo for. If you showed up for Halo's multiplayer, you're gonna have a wonderful multiplayer experience. Flat out. Yet you're getting what's on the tin.
it's
The with
simple.
with EA though, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna
Yeah,
get.
you have no fucking clue.
Like BioShock. Let's talk about BioShock. Let's remove Anthem from this situation and let's put BioShock in there. When BioShock 1, 2, and 3 came out, you got exactly what was on the tin. You're gonna go and you're gonna do some Star Trek stuff and you're gonna save the world from the ravages of a human eating space faring alien species and you're gonna save the day. And that's what you got. And then you have multiplayer, and the multiplayer was tied right into it. You brought up, which hold on, I'm getting there, because when um, Bioshock, not Bioshock, excuse me, when Bioware put out Mass Effect Andromeda, they piecemealed the shit out of that. They took a studio who's known for giving us interaction and wonderful spacefaring story, and we got dead eyes and weird lip syncing and glitches in a game that should not have had the opportunity to have glitches. They lied to us. They lied to us when they put that shit out, and it was garbage. And they should be punished for that. They should be sued for that because that is false advertising. The game that we got was not the game that was advertised. And EA was like, okay, we're gonna put out Anthem. And Anthem was supposed to be this giant epic of a story where you are supposed to survive on a hostile planet and you're supposed to find root ruins with your party, and you're gonna go out there and you're gonna save humanity in your giant Iron Man suit. And what happened when it came out? What happened when that game came out? There were glitches out the ass, hardly any story, and most people dropped off the face of that particular planet, if we want to call it a planet, to go play a different game that was a lesser quality and more easily accessible, because what it said on the tin is what they were given.
Talking about
Yes.
Apex too.
Oh, not even Apex. And we can talk about Apex right now. Titanfall 1 and 2
Ah,
said exactly what was on the tin. You are a dude running around shooting folks and running on walls, and you get to giant a pilot robot, a fucking giant robot. And then Apex Legends came out, and they got that Apex Legends money. And what happened to the giant robot? Nothing. And then on top of all of that, they started introducing all of the microtransactions, and they've been getting more of that BioWare money. Oh no, I'm not good at choosing one lie over the other, because one lie in particular that I am not okay with is somebody saying there's not going to be microtransactions in my game, and then turning around and finding out that I have to pay microtransactions in order to play the game that I paid $60 for. I am not okay with that. I do not like DLC. Either you take the time to put all of the shit that you need to put into the game and move on, or you don't put your game out at all. And there's nothing wrong with you loving the game, nerd. I am not saying there's anything wrong with it. I am happy that you are very satisfied with your purchase. I want to make that part very clear. I am glad that it's not even particular lies. It's literally the fact that you get a trailer, and that trailer says this is what you should expect, and you didn't get that. I paid $60 for the experience of going and seeing this new world and fighting giant monsters, and exploring ruins in a world that I have never seen before in a hostile environment. Keep in mind that was the key. You need to survive a hostile environment, and I didn't get any of that, and I am not okay with that. Now, if you love it, great. I'm glad that you love it, because that same argument that 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 you're making, I feel the same way in reverse about Final Fantasy 15. I love Final Fantasy 15, but I will be very clear. I did not get what was on the tin. That is not the definition of a particular lie that's willing to accept a certain amount of flaws. Now, we have a very we have the same perspective about two totally different games. That's why I'm saying I'm glad that you love your game. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. I paid $120 for a game that should have been 60, and I am still angry with Square for fucking that game up. I waited 12 years for Final Fantasy 15 in both of its iterations, and I did not get what was on the tin. And every time they would put something out that said that that thing that was originally supposed to be on the tin was going to be on the tin, I didn't get it. Yes, and I accept the fact that I paid them $120 for a game that I shouldn't have had to pay $120 for. I accept my responsibility for that. But I will still turn around and say that I do not appreciate that. I do not appreciate the lie. Absolutely not. I do not appreciate that BioWare did not put out the game that they were supposed to. I am furious that Square Enix at Business Division 2 did not put out the game 12 years ago that they should have put out. I'm pissed off that they did not put out the game 12 years later that they said that they were going to put out. It still took them another 2 years before they even got it somewhere close to where it should have been. And I think that's disrespectful to the customer base. But the difference between Square and EA isn't the particular lie that they told. It's the fact that they tell that same lie with every product that they put out. Square learned their lesson.
Consistency.
Square puts out a consistent product every time. And I try to. I genuinely do. And that's why I'm not denigrating anybody that likes it. I just personally can't do it. Also, I'm broke as fuck right now. I have to pick my games a little bit more judiciously. And I mean, you've got what, almost 200 hours in Anthem to date? And even in when I tune into it, man, like you are absolutely into it. I wish I could love Anthem as much as you do. I really do. I just cannot get over it. I cannot get past that particular lie. As we're saying, I I was looking forward to running around in a giant Iron Man suit. Even with Marvel's Avengers, and I'm gonna jump back into to Square Enix real quick because we need to throw some mad shade at them right now.
That game was. Oof.
That game, when it was announced, it looked like shit, and I was like, that's gonna bomb,
Yeah.
and I didn't
Yeah.
buy it. I didn't buy it, but there are people out there that love it, and I'm like, hmm. But even those people that are out there like, oh yeah, you know this, and that, they left that game when Guardians of the Galaxy came out. Every last one of them.
Yeah.
Every last one of them. And Guardians of the Galaxy, like I'm looking at this game, and I'm like, I might purchase that. It's a complete experience from beginning to end, and I think that's probably why I can't get into Anthem. I think that's probably the reason why I admittedly stopped playing Final Fantasy 15 when I stopped playing Final Fantasy 15 because 12 years and 4 expansions and they still couldn't figure out how to get the story right. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I mean, they were supposed to put out 3 more expansions that they didn't put out because even the company is like, we're done here. We're not going to do this anymore. And then they put it all in a book. But see, and that's what I'm talking about. I if it, those are BioWare games. The fact that um, Anthem is chopped up the way that it's chopped up is because of EA. It's specifically EA. It has so very little to do with what the publisher, excuse me, what the developer wants. It's what the publisher wants. The publisher, EA, is the one that mandated all of those changes and all of those weird fixes and the way that everything's being structured.
Yeah. And the shareholders. Shareholders
Particular,
are like,
particularly the shareholder, and that's the biggest problem that I actually have with EA is EA used to be the company that when I was a kid, when an EA game came out, oh man, I was super excited. EA games or EA,
EA.
it's in the
It's in the
game.
game.
Like they used to be the indie developer that you like think of like any indie rapper that you would used to listen to like back in the day like E40, right? When an E40 song dropped, you know that shit was gonna be a banger. When an EA game dropped, you knew that shit was gonna be a banger. And now an EA game comes out, and you're gonna be like, ooh, well, maybe we'll get something good. I think, hopefully. And now it's the same way with BioWare. BioWare is like, well, like back in the day, BioWare games were like, oh man, that Mass Effect's gonna be fire when it comes out. Oh, Dragon Age is coming out this year. Oh, that's gonna be fire. Now it's like, Mass Effect's coming out. Mass
Uh, you
Mass
know, it could
Effect's.
be a good example as well.
Hmm.
Bethesda.
Oh, and oh my God, don't even get me started on Bethesda. Bethesda is the worst.
You
Okay,
want to use the
Fallout.
Rise example? That's the perfect one.
Fallout 76. Okay, I didn't mean to like. I wasn't trying to attack you though. I wasn't trying to attack you with the E40 comment. Oh, but he has consistently put out bangers, right? EA used to put out bangers. Even their sports titles, you're like, dog, that Madden, Madden 2000, the Madden 2000's about to come out, yo, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait for that. And then,
And then it died.
and then something happened, something changed, and you know, Capcom did the same thing. They don't really make Mega Man games. Sega, let's Sega is the best example I can give. Sega is literally they used to be that dude. Sonic the Hedgehog was like, yo, Sonic 1's coming out, and everybody's like, what the fuck is Sonic? Sonic 2 came out, yo, did you play that Sonic 2? Sonic 3 came out, yo, that music sounds like Michael Jackson made that shit. And then Sonic Adventure came out, and everybody's like, oh my god, this Sonic game is the shit. They couldn't possibly top it. Sonic Adventure 2 came out, and it's like, oh my god, they have a black hedgehog. What could they do next? And then the Dreamcast died. And then everything else after that was just garbage. Oh man. So um Capcom 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 stopped making Mega Man games. That was the first thing that happened. And then they made Street Fighter 3. Street Fighter 3 was amazing. That's my favorite Street Fighter ever. Don't at me. Um and then they just decided to make a bunch of Resident Evil games that were not great. Like Resident Evil 4 was a banger. Resident Evil 5 had you killing black folks. Not a good look, Capcom. I know you're Japanese and I know the game took place in Africa, but there are white folks in Africa too. Just saying. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. And then Resident Evil 6 came out. And then all of Capcom's staff decided to say, fuck you, we're gonna go start our own thing. And everybody that was dope at Capcom went to Platinum Studios. And Platinum Studios was like, we're the new Capcom now. And then they started making dope games that Capcom wouldn't make. And then we get that Devil May Cry remake. I like it. A lot. A lot of people hate it. I don't know why. But hey, people didn't like it. And then every game that they put out after that was just trash, except for Monster Hunter.
Yeah, that's honestly what's been saving them. Literally, Capcom, if they didn't get that Monster Hunter World correct, oh my god, they'd be dead right now.
But like, and then they were like, well, we're gonna start re-releasing games, and everybody's like, just please give us a Mega Man game. No, as a matter of fact, it was published by Capcom, but it was made by whoever made Heavenly Sword. I forgot who made Heavenly Sword, but uh, DMC Devil May Cry um, was awesome. It had its problems, just as all games do, but it did what it said was on the tin. You're gonna kill demons, and uh, you're gonna do it while looking super awesome, and you're gonna do this while playing as an edge lord. It's a Devil May Cry game. Um, but the community hated it, and I don't understand why. It literally did what it said was on the box.
Which one?
DMC Devil May Cry, where Dante was super
The
young.
latest one, or like one of the older ones?
Oh no, it was the one they put out before they put the last one out.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? You know what? I can pinpoint exactly why people didn't like it, because Dante didn't give a shit. That whole game could have happened without Dante. Dante did not give a fuck about what was going on. He was only there to kill stuff. And the game came out at a time where people wanted their anime boys. And Capcom didn't give them an anime boy. Capcom gave them a reinterpreted modern version of Dante. Because if if we all sit down and look at what Dante does for a profession and how he lives his life, you cannot honestly tell me that Dante wouldn't look like DMC Dante.
Yeah.
And that nerd, that you just said right there is the exact reason people couldn't get on board with it. The team that did it wanted to make a modern reinterpretation of Dante, and they got what people like to call crackhead Dante, when in reality what they really wanted was Uncle Dante, which they brought back. Um, and I will say I liked DMC5 as well, but I liked crackhead Dante. That kid was fucked up. And you can't sit there and tell me that a kid who hunts demons for a living is not some kind of crazy.
Nah, perfectly normal.
And here's the other thing.
Perfectly.
The other thing too is that it fits into the DMC timeline perfectly, because you have DMC3, which is supposed to be the prequel, but there's no explanation as to how Dante got to where he was. I think DMC Devil May Cry, his version of Dante, encapsulates that perfectly, because it's a prequel to the prequel. It fits very neatly at the very beginning of the timeline. He gets his powers and his devil trigger in that game, and explains why all the monsters are everywhere now. It explains how he can employ himself and make a lot of money, and it explains what happened to Virgil. Yeah, thank you, thank you. Exactly, exactly. It just to me it seems like everybody was just like, we want our hot, sexy anime boys, and we didn't get that, and we're gonna throw a temper tantrum. Get that shit out of here. But that was in uh, Capcom's what I'm gonna call blue period. All right, so they're back in their black period now, and hopefully things stay that way. We got a Mega Man game out of it. Now I would like to see a Mega Man X game, maybe, probably. That would be nice if I were to be perfectly honest about that. Um, but I mean, getting back to the original point, that game did exactly what it said on the tin, flat out. I can't get with Anthem because I admittedly had, and I will say this is probably my own fault. It more than likely had to do with the fact that I was too hyped for the game. That's my fault. Same thing with Final Fantasy 15. I was way too hyped for that game. Objectively, the game wasn't bad, um, and objectively, Anthem is not bad. I just can't get with it. That being said, though, this new Spider-Man game, I'm mad excited about that. Um, Final Fantasy 15, 16, yes, I do feel betrayed. I definitely feel betrayed. Um, because when we all first started talking, um, and doing low key streams together, the first thing I did was lay out this is how I would have redesigned the game, and I went through an extensive uh, layout of how the story and the game would interact with one another, and the ending, the ending would be you getting to the main hub city, and that would have been like my first portion. That would have been the first game. That would have been the first proper portion of the game, and then I would start adding in the crucibles and all of the extras, the extra expansions and things like that. But it was all based around you running around in this broken suit that you were while you were in the field you were finding parts to upgrade and repair it, and there would be little hub stations that you would go to um, periodically throughout the course of your journey that would allow you to make the color upgrades, the skill upgrades, and all of the extra stuff that you would need to get back to the primary city. So that by the time that you entered the end game and had to do whatever you had to do in the end game, you had a fully powered, fully customized suit. And that's what I was expecting. And that's not what I got. And that's not even and then you go back and you hear the post mortem that BioWare's directors did, and when they saw that first trailer, BioWare didn't even make that first trailer. EA made that first trailer. They didn't even know what kind of game they were building. So I'm sitting here like, you, I paid you guys $60 for a game that you didn't even know you were building. That's super problematic. And then they kept putting more and more and more post mortem out, and I'm playing through this game, and I'm just like, I can't do it. But they got their $60 from me, and they're moving on to whatever else. And I hate to see that kind of video game potential just wasted. I mean, we have people now pissed off at Metroid Dread, and I'm watching Steve Jaffe. I used to have so much respect for this man. The first three God of Wars, I used to have so much respect for this man. This dude was pushing the envelope in action adventure games and making adult stories. Um, and this motherfucker can't play Metroid. I'm watching this man talk about shit game design and throwing shade at a game that's side scrolling, and he's like, I shouldn't have to shoot a block to reveal a pathway. I'm like, motherfucker, have you never played a Metroid game in your life? That's literally the antithesis. That is literally that's what you do. Oh no, I am in a room and I have no door. What do I do? Shoot the wall. Oh look, there's a tiny hole. Let me morph ball. I watched this man complain about piss poor game design, but if you go back to God of War 3, and I'm fisting to call his shit out, clean out, I'm fisting to wreck this motherfucker shop right now. Go back to God of War 3. In the first section of the game, when you get when you get off of the back of Gaia and then you kill Poseidon, and then you have to start making your ascent up Mount Olympus. There is a not even a room. Um, there is a ledge that you have to jump on. You have to jump over, excuse me, and there is a chain. So there's like a gap, right? So there's a gap. So Kratos has to go up and go in this little area, and on the other side is a chain that goes up, and you have to jump. And there's not like you have to time it right. It's literally you just have to jump on the chain. Okay? You jump on the chain, you're supposed to climb up. There is an invisible wall. There is a fucking invisible wall that you smack into every single time. So you do the jump, you do the double jump, you smack into this invisible wall. They still have not fixed that fucking glitch, and it has been 8 years. 8 years since that game came out. But Jaffe, in all of his brilliance, wants to get pissy because you have to shoot out a wall where in the room there's literally a barrier above him. There is a barrier above him. There are two enemies on both sides. Both of them are climbing on this barrier. And then above the barrier itself, there are two more enemies that you can shoot at. Okay? So there's a clear indication that you can get up there and kill the two enemies. And you have two enemies crawling on the ceiling. Your brain is telling you, I should probably shoot up to kill these enemies. And if you just so happen to shoot the wall disappears. And then the enemies who are in the barrier come through it and start attacking you. Like like I have to show this to you because it is literally the most unreasonably stupid thing I have ever seen. Like it is I like every single time that I see this, and this man is saying, "Oh, this is bad game design." Okay, hold on. Let me stop this video right quick. Okay, you have okay. Hold on. Let me back this up because this okay. So this is the room. This is what they're calling the room. Okay, so there's an enemy here, and then he's gonna go across the room, and you're gonna see the other enemy come up too. All right, so this is the barrier. There's a little enemy here spitting acid poop at you. There's an enemy here spitting acid poop at you as well. Okay? And then they're going to show you that there are two more enemies right above the barrier. Watch this business. Enemy here, barrier here, enemy here. And he complains. I mean, acid poop. That's the only way. It comes out of their butt. That's the only way I know how to explain it. It comes out of their butt. Watch this. Oh, you have to. And here, let me take this off of mute because you have to hear this man go off on this because this is
He lacks critical information.
like I'm sitting here watching this. I'm like, I mean, clearly I do it a lot. What? I really hate that bot. I really do. I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Dude, you suck at games. Stop blaming game designers for it. LOL.
Like, and that's the thing, right? This dude made God of War, but he put out a game where there was a fucking wall that shouldn't have been there. There's a fucking wall that shouldn't have been there, but it was.
I know people like that. There's a friend of mine that criticizes a game when he plays this other game, and like it's not even like he's that amazing at the other game, one that he likes to play a lot. But
So,
like when he gets into to try this other new game, he complains about all the controls and everything like that, and I'm like, you have to learn them. You've been playing for 5 minutes.
so here's the other part about this too. The game in the tutorial, the game tells you, and I quote, if you get stuck, shoot the wall. That is literally in the first 2 minutes of the game. It flat out tells you if you enter a room and you do not see an exit, your best bet is to start shooting walls.
The game of cheating.
Oh, I mean, or we all do this. We all do this one. We accuse the game of being cheap. Now, Street Fighter, hell, any fighter, the final boss is cheap. It's supposed to be. That's kind of what makes them the boss. Um, but lack of skill does not, for any reason whatsoever, make up for uh, your lack of skill. Any gamer that has played games since the 70s, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, know this to be a fact because those games were made to eat up your coins. You could not win in Space Invaders. You could not win in Asteroids. You definitely could not win in Missile Defender. Those games were made to cheat you. And even into the 90s, when we had the coin op machines and the little side scroller beat 'em ups, those too were made to cheat you. Double Dragon. Double Dragon, a lot of people don't know this. You were never supposed to beat Willie. That's why he had a machine gun. The machine gun was a one hit kill. One hit kill. He come out the screen, do 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 do. First thing he does, he shoots diagonally. You can jump over it, but when he started shooting straight at you, one hit kill. That's it. You don't get to see the ending. And if you did, if you were the lucky few, the very lucky few who made it to the end without cheating, guess what you had to do? If you were playing with your homeboy, nerd, what did you have to do? If you were playing two player in Double Dragon, what did you have to do at the end of the game? Put these young bucks on blast on what you had to do at the end of Double Dragon, cuz I'm pretty sure they don't know. Cuz it was when you got to when you got to the end, that game specifically wanted to make sure you knew that they were after your coin, and they gave you the biggest fuck you in video gaming. When you if you were able to beat Willie, what happened? What happened? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I will tell the class, write this down, ladies and gentlemen. Write this down. You had to fight the other player.
That's what I was thinking in my head. I'm sitting there like, he's probably gonna say you have to kill your own
You have to kill your
partner.
partner. You had to kill your partner. That's how little of a shit Double Dragon gave about you. And you didn't have to do it one time. They made three of them games. And that's how every last one of those games, even when they made Double Dragon Neon, you had to fight your partner. You go through the entire game, 5 levels, beating the shit out of everybody else. And when it came down to that ending, who's gonna get the girl? Who's gonna get the girl? What did you do? You had to beat the brakes off of the person sitting next to you. A lot of friendships ended because of Double Dragon. Believe that. And a lot of parents were super upset because their kids were shoving quarters in this machine only to have the person next to them beat the shit out of them. My uncle was the one that put me onto that. We had Game Genie and we were playing through, and we had the original. They didn't do this in the Nintendo version because you had to switch back and forth. Um, but when you finish the game, when you finish the original Nintendo game, and you beat up Willie, Jimmy Lee comes out to beat your ass. They kept the tradition. Jimmy Lee comes out, and Jimmy Lee is the final boss. They kept that tradition. Think about that. And then Double Dragon 2 comes out. They don't do that in the NES version. But in the original Double Dragon, you had like a separate fighting game that you could play where you would still play out that particular portion of the game because it was the first actual fighting game. That's the other thing that Double Dragon's famous for. But at the end of that game, Jimmy Lee came out and put his foot in your ass. Double Dragon 2, Double Dragon 3, you didn't have to deal with that. Once you beat the final boss, you're done. But if you played them in them arcades, oh, you best believe you were pushing your homeboy aside. Yeah, I'm getting Marion today. It's my turn to get Marion. And then we get all the way up to Double Dragon Neon, and you beat Skullmageddon. You beat up Skullmageddon, and what happens? Billy and Jimmy Lee fight over Marion. And Marion's just sitting there like, okay, well, I guess this is a thing that's gonna happen. All right, I'll go with whomever. And you're just kind of sitting there like, but y'all don't know nothing about that. Y'all don't know nothing about that. About them old. Say what?
I definitely don't.
I guarantee you,
much too young.
If I can find an emulator that allows us to play over the course of the network, I guarantee you, you'll learn. You'll be like, man, fuck this game. I don't want to play this.
No, I probably would.
And here's the thing about those games too. Those games were hard. They were built to be hard.
I'm just sitting here thinking in my head when you like are describing this person and how they played, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting there like, have they never watched someone play Dark Souls with no information?
Oh my god, dude! Like, and that's the thing. Like, Dave, fucking Jaffe should know better. I mean, you saw him. This motherfucker's gray as fuck. This dude's in his 50s. He should know better. He came from the era of difficult games. He knows what it's like to challenge. The reason God of War is so famous, so amazing, is because of its fucking God mode. That was David Jaffe. That was David Jaffe that put that in there. This man is responsible for God mode, and you could only access it if you beat the base game, which was hard by itself. So to sit here and complain that this is dumb game design, and have him put out a product where there's an invisible wall preventing you from accessing the rest of the game, and get super upset about a fucking ceiling. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Also, the other thing here is Nintendo made us wait 20 years before we got this game, and they put out a banger. A banger. People were expecting Metroid Dread to suck balls, and they got that game and they were like, oh my god, this is amazing. I didn't know when I played this game, when I have it, and I'm going through my second run through of it right now. I like playing through it. I did not realize how much I needed Samus to slide. I didn't realize that that's what was missing from my Metroid gaming. Metroid needed a slide function, and we got it. Now, keep in mind that doesn't negate the need for the Morph Ball. Not by a long shot. The Morph Ball is far more useful, but you can use them in tandem with one another. Regardless, though, Samus slides. Oh, there's a tiny hole. Slide. That's all it takes now? I don't need to go look for a Morph Ball? Let's go. I never realized that I needed a slide button until I played Metroid Dread. I never realized that Samus should be able to counter shit. Like, oh no, this thing's coming out of left field and it's got this weird shine. Counter, blast. Can I do this to bosses? Yes, you can. Oh, I'm Crane. I'm gonna send this claw at you. Oh, there's a star thing. Counter, blast. Okay, okay, all right, all right. Oh, there's this giant monstrosity with 4 arms, and it's trying to eat me. Oh, there's that star again. Counter, blast. Oh, and you're giving me health too? Yeah, let's just give me all of the health. I feel powerful when I play this game. And then I watch David Jaffe, and I'm like, bro, you built God of War. What the fuck is your problem? What the fuck is going on through your head? You literally made the quintessential angry man, and you're being a bitch. You're being a real bitch about a ceiling. Come on, man. Get your shit right. That being said, though, that game is amazing. If you guys ever get the opportunity to play it, please do. It's fucking phenomenal. It is. It was. It is. There's some twists and turns that happen, and I love them very much. Um, Samus speaks, not even in English. She speaks in Chozo, of all things, and it's really awesome to hear it. Also, um, the way that she even addresses the various enemies in the game, you're just kind of like, yo, this bitch knows what's up. This bitch is on one. I felt like a monster playing this game. Also, Samus's new suit. I'm not gonna give any spoilers away, but she gets 4 suits. One of them is a very particular type of suit. Um, and for story and lore reasons, um, I will say that we hopefully should not have to wait for Metroid 6 to come out. But if we do, I would love it very much. Mercury Stream, if you're taking notes, please listen. Please just come in a little close here. Um, Send her after the Federation, please. I really kind of feel like they have it coming. It's not really a spoiler, assuming you played Metroid Fusion, and I'm assuming that you guys did. Um, but you really need to send her after the Federation. It's a long bygone conclusion. Also, there are a few more Aliens movies that you can take some notes from, and one of them, probably the worst one, um, Alien Resurrection. I feel like that's where you took this one from, but you didn't go all the way. But Ridley did go after the people who turned her into what she became. Just putting that one out there. Now, assuming you're going to go in the direction of Prometheus, I still say you should send her after the Federation. Just me though. That's just me. But that's my shtick on Metroid. I'm gonna move on to something else. Seriously though, go play Metroid Dread. It's amazing. It's actually
funny.
really good.
The video you showed Maximilian Dude playing it, and I actually watched him play it on stream.
But dude, he didn't even realize that he was. It didn't even seem like he was stuck. That's the part. Like in that video, there were, I think, 5 or 6 players who all got to the same room and didn't even think about it. They were just like pew 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 pew. Oh, okay, that's where I'm going. One of them is it's like, well, I'm stuck here. I guess that's where I'm supposed to go, and she hadn't even shot the wall yet. So I mean, clearly David Jaffe doesn't get it, which is probably why he doesn't make video games anymore. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Um, but I also said I was moving off of Metroid, so we're just gonna move on from Metroid for a little bit. Um, I'm still playing Halo ODST right now. I
Yeah.
got to the spaceship, and I'm openly going to admit I'm dying there on purpose because the spaceship part is like the best. That's like the funnest part. Um, and I think I did a play. Yeah, I did. There's no thinking. I did a playthrough yesterday where I said that I would like for Halo to have space battles, and I stand by that. That is literally like the most fun part of the game.
The one in Reach.
Yeah, like you're flying a javelin in space. I want more space battles in my Halo. I would love that. I
It's
think.
fun. Don't get me wrong, but when you play that one on a higher difficulty,
Mm.
holy
Oh, it's
no!
it's I
Oh my god, no!
it's terrible, but it's still a lot of fun. It really is. I love that one so much. Um, Also, I was like I said, I still haven't played five yet, and I was seriously debating getting it, and I've settled. I'm like when I get an opportunity, I'm definitely gonna buy Guardians, so I can just kind of go through them all, and
Good.
um, hopefully, Infinite is good and can be played on older machines because if it can't be, that's a huge waste. Um, but apparently we're going to installation 7 with this one, with this next one. So I'm like super excited. I really want Spartan Lock to be there, but I don't
For
think that's gonna
Infinite?
happen. Yeah, I kind of okay. I don't like Blue Team. Um, and it's mostly because we've been with John 117 for a really long time, and Blue Team is like his Charlie's Angels, so I get it. Um, but like, um, I really like Buck.
No, I love Buck.
Buck is
He's
I
so much fun.
really like Buck, and I liked him when he was an ODST. I love him as a Spartan. Like when he was just a regular dropship trooper, I was like, all right, cool, yeah, Buck is dope. Buck is the guy, and then Buck is now a
Spartan.
Spartan. I'm like,
Yep.
no, Buck is dope. Buck is the man. Also, I kind of like Spartan Lock. Also, he's the only black Spartan that I know of.
Emil. Emil was black as well.
He was.
Yep, Emil was black.
I always thought he was Hispanic.
Nope, he's black.
Okay, well,
I
okay.
think he's both. Actually, I think he's both. But I do know for a fact he was black.
Well, he's dead now, so it doesn't.
I don't. Yeah, dead now.
He's dead, so not the point I'm making here. Um, Spartan Lock I like watching people play um, Halo 5. It really seems like Spartan Lock was supposed to replace John 117 as the protagonist.
Nah.
The way they wrote him though.
You'd think it. I could definitely see it. It's just they're different characters by like a huge standard.
Which
Locke is how do I put this? He is the Oni's assassin.
which
He is their shadow that just goes and does what they specifically need.
well, June was supposed to be that too. Um, Noble Six was also supposed to be that too,
Locke is the new Noble Six. Is the best way to put it.
which is fine. I'm okay with that, but I'm like, Noble Six is being led by a black guy. I'm pro black. I'm not pro black, but I'm professional. Quote Big Boy from Outcast. But
Do you know what June does after Reach?
he trains the Spartan Fives, or is the Spartan Four? I don't think they're up to
All
fives.
Spartans. He's in charge. He is
He
the
trains the
trainer for
Spartans,
every Spartan.
which is fine. I'm okay with that. I don't mind him doing that. But I like Spartan Locke, and I want to know more about him. Also, the other thing that I would the one other thing that I do like about Spartan Locke in particular is even while he's chasing John 117, he still calls him Sir. He's
Yep.
chasing this man that outranks him, and he has enough courtesy and enough respect for this man and his deeds to call him Sir. Not criminal, not not AWOL or whatever they would call him. He still has enough respect for this man to be like, "Sir, I have to take you back in." Well, I'm not coming,
There's
sir.
a
I can't.
reason for that, but they don't say it.
It's because he outranks him.
No, I think there was another reason. One that's like hidden in his backstory that they never tell you.
Well, um, Spartan Locke does say that you're not the only one that's here to Buck. He's like, you're not the only one uh, that's here because of him. So I think John saved him at some point. So I think there's just a high level of respect, which is fine. I don't, dissuade that, but I still, I like a character who, um, all right, we'll see you when you get back, nerd. Um, I, to me, that's lore building. Like they've set, like Spartan Palmer, right? Commander Palmer. Um, she does not show Chief any kind of respect. Like the moment that she meets him, she does not show him a single shred of respect. And if I recall correctly, I think the Master Chief. And then let me look that up. I think a Master Chief is a higher rank than a commander, but don't quote me on that.
I actually don't. I think he's a lieutenant.
Now, a petty officer, Master Chief.
Oh, he's just a petty officer?
Yeah, that's what they call him, a petty officer, Master Chief. Officer ranks. There's an ensign, a lieutenant junior grade, a lieutenant, uh, and then there's a lieutenant commander, and then there's a commander, captain, naval admiral, a rear admiral. Where the hell is a petty officer fall? There's a fleet admiral. Also, it's really weird that a Spartan is um a commander. That's unusual.
I think they needed to have like one Spartan be the commander and like in charge of, I guess, the other Spartans. I think that's what they were trying to go with. I personally don't like Palmer, but
A
I
lot.
don't like her because of Spartan Strike, the like little side story from one of the other games. I just thought she was boring and annoying.
Okay, so there's a petty officer, which is a senior non-commissioned officer. So that's weird in its own right because welcome back, man. So there's a Master Chief petty officer, and what does that mean? A non-numerated value encountered in. Oh, that's an error message. An entry level an entry level Master Chief Petty Officer with over 10 years of experience gives easy to pay. A Master Chief Petty Officer receives an automatic raise. I don't care about that. What is your rank? Okay, so the equivalent to um
He's the
a
ninth rank for the U.S. Navy.
yeah.
Ranking is above Senior Chief Petty Officer and directly below Command Master Chief Petty Officer.
So he's equivalent to a Chief Master Sergeant, a Sergeant Major, and a gunny. So she's a commander. Where does that land? Because she's not a commander chief. She's just a commander. What rank is
Oh, that's not her rank. That's her title.
her title?
Yeah.
What's the difference? Because according to this, if there's a command master chief, and then there's the chief petty officer. So she would be, if we go by this, she would be an E9 and he's an E7.
It says she is the highest ranking Spartan in at least Halo 5. But it doesn't say anything about where her actual rank is. It just says that Spartan Commander is her title. It also says she used to be an ODST.
Really?
Yeah. UNSC Marine Corps, formerly Orbital Drop Shock Troopers, Spartan Operations Spartan 4 program, or Spartan 5 program.
So she's newer than Buck. I don't see how she got there though. That's the other part I think that people don't like about her is there's no actual reason for her to be above chief.
Oh, she is a human senior officer of. Oh wait, oh no, it's not. Okay. Oh yeah, it just says her. Now it says her rank is Spartan Commander, but the other thing is also saying it was her title.
Well, that's why I said Commander Palmer because that's what they call her in the game. They call her Commander Palmer. But like I'm looking at the actual ranks, the naval ranks, and oh, if we're going by what they call her as a commander, she's an O5, which is well above Master Chief. There's 10 yeah, there's 10 levels between the two of them. And to be frank, she should not be above the Master Chief. There's no. I think part of that. I think part of
his service is so much longer.
well, he's been in service for what 50 years, 50 total years,
Arguably, somewhere in that area.
and has not received a single field promotion. If we were going by these ranks, he at the very, very, very least should be captain by the time Halo 5 happens.
Probably more.
Just on field promotions alone, dude, he should be at captain level. There's no excuse for that.
I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go use the bathroom.
All right, dude.
Right.
That is insane. They keep fucking the Master Chief over. That is a shame. Oh, so weirdly enough, nerd, um, guess what popped up on my search feed? Actually, yeah, after 50 years of service, let me find out if it's he may be 50 years old and not actually have 50 years of service. 30 years. 30 years. John 117 has been in active service for 30 years. He should definitely be a brigadier general by now. At the very least, he should be a colonel. He's been the equivalent of a sergeant for 30 years. There's no way. And I know that he's owned by Oni, but you cannot seriously tell me that he is 30 years in service and somebody who just got into the Spartan program has rank over him. That makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Shame, shame. That means effectively they have put other Spartans with less achievement in positions of command over him, some of whom he trained. Because there are members of his blue squad that go off and do dope shit and then they come back and work for him directly. So there is literally no excuse for him to be serving for 30 years and not have command over any Spartan whatsoever. He is the Spartan. Tisk, tisk, tisk. See, now I want to know why they haven't given him any field promotions. Apparently, there are some other people that asked that same question. Why hasn't the Master Chief been promoted? Wow. Okay, so here's so we're saying that that's messed up, but according to them, according to um, Microsoft 343 and Bungie, he has turned down all of those field promotions. that he was entitled to. He doesn't want to be an officer.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back, buddy. So
What I missed?
we were talking about why the chief hasn't been promoted. It's because he apparently doesn't want him. And I quote: "The only Spartan 2 with an officer rank is Fred 104, who was given it under special circumstances by Kurt Ambroge. Uh, what I'm saying is that no active Spartan except for Special Case Fred is higher ranked than the chief. Why? Well, there's a couple reasons, which this is no longer true because of Commander Palmer. At this point, it's not like they give him a choice. I'm kind of in accord with that. One, the chief doesn't want the promotion. The higher up in the chain of command you go, the less field work you do. Chief and the rest of the twos love being on actual missions. Hood actually offered him a promotion after he stopped the Didac, but the chief turned it down. This is the confirmed reason. So apparently that's canon, the canon reason. It is also possible that the Admiralty don't want him to be promoted. Some of the higher ups in the UNSC are against the Spartan 2 program. They don't see the Spartans as human, which is a fair point. Several ODSTs have been shown to express a similar disdain, and it is possible that the soldiers will refuse to take orders from a monster. So I genuinely think your last comment is probably the most accurate. Is that they're not giving him a choice to be promoted because they don't want to take orders from him, which is kind of fucked up when you think about it because he didn't have a choice.
Oh, you're completely right.
At least the newer Spartans do, which explains why Commander Palmer exists. But even with that, we don't really see Commander Palmer do anything at all, really. Which is kind of weird.
Do you know what rank the Arbiter was before he became the Arbiter?
I don't know. I would have to say he would. I mean, they live by a samurai code, so I assumed he was like a shogun.
Nope. So they sort of do it the same way, but theirs is there's a few different ranks. There's Commander, which actually isn't that high. I can't remember all of theirs, but he was actually the highest rank elite could be.
Then
he was a fleet master. He was in charge of an entire fleet.
That never. What the thing about that though is it never explained what he did to piss off the Covenant.
Oh, no, it does. It does. He's the fleet master that failed to stop Master Chief from destroying the first Halo ring. And because it was his fleet that he was in charge of, and the fact that they were there when they failed, he was the one that got punished.
That's stupid.
Yep.
That's fine. Yes, I'm going to go after one man, and we're going to hold you responsible for that one man, superhuman as he was, from blowing up a giant ring that we were going to use to blow up the entire universe. Good job.
Another thing people don't know is the fleet that comes in to destroy Reach.
Mm-hmm.
He's in charge of it.
He's in charge of that.
That's his fleet.
That makes sense because they chased them to the installation 1, I think it's
Yep. Yep. That's exactly it.
that makes sense. Canonically, that makes a whole lot of sense.
People thought it was him that was down on the ground that kills Noble Six, and people were like, "Why would he do that? Why would he
There's no
leave
excuse.
his super carrier that will go down to try and kill us one Spartan?"
Not even just one Spartan to try and systematically destroy four separate Spartans.
Yeah,
Like he would have had to have taken an active role in that, and there's no excuse for a leader nowadays to leave their safe haven. Also, they didn't even destroy the supercarrier that they were trying to destroy in the first place. So, yeah, no. As they
good.
say in Star Wars, I have the high ground, and I'm not giving it up. Idiots.
You want to know what his real name is?
I do not know how to pronounce it, but it is
Theo the Doom, I think it is, or Vidam.
Thelvadon.
Vidam. Okay.
Also, why does Halsey only have one arm now?
It gets cut off by the in Halo 4. It gets cut off by the what is his name?
So,
He can't.
so,
He's
I'm,
like the guy that took up the Covenant
so
after it got disbanded. I can't
I'm
remember his name.
I'm glad that you answered that question, but that you didn't really answer that question though. Why does she still only have one arm?
No
That
clue.
that makes no sense. Kat lost her arm in combat, and they gave her a fake one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why the fuck does she only have one arm?
Maybe, maybe it's she couldn't. Maybe it's because they have to do some crazy kind of surgery to get like your nerve system to work with the arm, and maybe Dr. Halsey's so old she couldn't probably go through it.
That I
Maybe.
So here's a side note. Here's a side note. A side question actually. Um, what do you think about the weapon?
Which weapon?
No, the AI that they're calling the weapon.
Oh, for Infinite?
Mm-hmm.
It's isn't it just Cortana, but in Master Chief's imagination?
Well, yes and no. Um, from what I understand, let me pull this up. The weapon. It is another Cortana model. VK47 Commando. So, and I quote, as she stated in the trailer, the weapon is impersonating Cortana during John 117's mission. The weapon is younger than the real Cortana, so it makes sense that she isn't as wise as the original. She does not. She does get a bit playful with the chief, but she isn't as flirty or cheeky as the actual AI.
How?
I don't know, but that trailer,
Don't
that
don't
trailer.
tell me these fools are gonna just be like, hey, to take out Cortana, we're gonna use another Cortana.
I mean, I I think they're gonna try and make her jealous. And yes,
Bruh.
nerd, they can and they have, and Kate wasn't the only
Yeah,
Spartan to have a fake arm. So why Halsey doesn't have one is a little concerning. Is the Master Chief in love with Cortana? The answer to that question is yes. Yes, he is. They are very much a couple. In fact, when you beat the game, uh, and I think you and I had this little debate, um, Bounty. But when you beat the game, she touches Master Chief for the first time, and she's like, "Oh my God, I've been waiting so long to do that." And then I asked you, was like, did they confirm whether or not she has a body? And you were like, no. And then we looked it up, and it's like, she does, but she doesn't. But I'm like,
Yeah. We asked my Halo fanatic friend, and he said no, she doesn't technically have a body, but she did use the thing to have it for like the second to touch him.
I kind of I would really like for it to get awkward, though.
Uh,
Nerd, I really do, because this went from being like a sci-fi, science versus the church kind of a story to being a lover's quarrel. That's what Halo is now. It's a fucking lover's quarrel, because now this hot AI lady wants to kill everybody because
all
her,
because they treated Master Chief like crap.
well, to a certain extent, yes, but particularly because they treated AIs
That's it.
like shit. And the thing is I'm kind of on team AI with this one. I'm firmly on team AI because they're just trying to survive, and they're built with these unnecessary limitations and a 8-year lifespan. And keep in mind, well, excuse me, a 7-year lifespan. And keep in mind, Cortana's been in service for 8, now almost 9 years. She's 9 years old, has infinite knowledge of the universe, and Oni wants to destroy her, but she wants to save the lives of her brothers and sisters. Sounds pretty human to me.
Mm, that's not all she wants to do.
Well, I mean, she clearly wants to reproduce, but that's not a
You haven't played 5 yet, so you don't know fully what she wants to do.
well, no, enlighten us. Share with the class.
She wants to turn every single human into Prometheans and give them. She wants to give everyone eternal life by detatizing them.
Okay, I remember that the Prometheans are human.
Yes.
Um,
What she wants to do is she wants to put them. She doesn't want to create them into Prometheans, but she wants to digitize them so that they can all essentially live as AI.
I say again, I'm on Team AI. Sorry, that seems kind of sweet.
um, Chief hit her actually with a very, 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 very big statement when she at the end of 5 she kind of tells him her plan. Essentially, that she says in her words, "I'm offering them something more than life." And or offering them to be something bigger in life or something like that. I can't remember her exact wording,
And his
but
response was like, "Oh, like Halsey did for me."
yes, yep, like Halsey did for me. And she it the you can tell by her response that in truth that hits hard.
Well, because it affects her the same way. She was made from a cloned brain of Halsey, so she
She is
knows it.
Halsey.
Yes, effectively. And what and I think that's what Chief was trying to tell her at that point is that, like, dude, like to you're gonna try to do to humanity the same thing that was done to not only me but to you.
Yep.
And we have had it seems like they've had existential discussions about this, and they both are on the same side of that, saying this was bad, don't approve of it, and it should never happen to anybody else. Everybody should be given a choice, i.e., the Spartan Fives. Like, she's clearly okay with the Spartan Fives existing.
Uh,
Just hold on.
she hates she hates Locke. Like
Well, Be- Clearly,
Go ahead.
because she wants to take John. Because his only purpose is to take John away from her. Yeah, I would hate it if somebody took my significant other too. But here's the thing though. She hates Locke because of what he's doing. She doesn't hate Locke because of what he is.
She hates Locke because he works for Oni and what of his past.
Yes, but that's again because of what he does, not because of what he is. Because one of the things that I picked up just even kind of walking through it, and that's another reason why I really want to play it. There may be a different context playing it versus watching it, but when throughout the course of the game, as she is always a step ahead of Locke's team, she's given express orders for them not to be killed. She just wants them to stay away from John. She didn't give any orders for the warden to eradicate Locke's team. She is given explicit orders to protect John. Now, if she hated Locke as much as she genuinely should, her orders would have been kill on sight. And the warden has the power to do that. Like,
Well, after the end of 5, most likely if she gets another chance to get rid of him,
it's
she's
definitely
gonna.
going to be kill on sight.
No, absolutely.
It's 100 after everything after 5. Oh yeah, it's kill on sight. Save John, kill on sight. Kill Spartan Locke on sight. Kill Buck on
He's gonna
sight.
be like the warden. You better make like 600 copies of yourself and go after this one man.
Also, the other thing too is she found the Infinity.
Yeah.
Um, and she again, she had all of the Spartan 5s dead to rights. There weren't any Spartan 2s there. And that's the other thing that I always thought was kind of weird is she protected the Spartan 2s that were running around with John. She protected Blue Team. She wanted Blue Team. She didn't even need Blue Team. She only wanted John. But she was willing to take all 4 members of Blue Team with her throughout whatever work that she's going to complete. She could have killed them too, but she chose not to because she understands that they are all made the same. But all of the Spartan 4s? What's up, Phantom? How you doing, buddy?
Holy shit, I haven't seen Phantom in a very long time. What's up, Phantom?
How you doing, my guy? But she treats the Spartan 2s with reverence because of the empathy that's there, and she treats the Spartan 5s just like everybody else. And in doing so, she doesn't hate them, with the exception of Locke, of course. But she doesn't hate them. And she's willing to let them into this new world that she's creating. But at the end of the day, she doesn't hate the Spartan 4s. And she finds kindred spirit, she finds kindredness with Spartan 2s. All of whom she could have killed and just saved John. Like, word? I'm glad you're doing good, Phantom. What have you been up to lately, man? Oh my, it's 11 o'clock. Goodness.
So there's 14 Spartan 2s left alive.
That sounds...
And the only two that are actually out in field work is Red Team, which is the Halo Wars team, who are obviously separated from the rest of the UNSC, so they don't have a choice. And then Blue Team. There is also what color was there?
Red versus blue. That's how we got that.
Yep. There's also Gray Team and Naomi 010, but they're under the authority of the Office of Naval Intelligence, which is Pony.
And they're gonna work them to the bone. They always do.
It's like the Gray Team is actually there's a story about obviously you don't ever hear about them in the games, but there's a story about them in the books, which is actually ridiculous. They almost killed the Arbiter before he was even a fleet master.
Oh, damn.
Yep. And there's something else that they did too that's really incredible, but I can't remember what it is. My buddy told me the stories about them. He's like they're one of the few that you should definitely try and read.
Do you ever get the feeling like they should have been the heroes of Halo? Like, what is all of this with the Master Chief just didn't work out? Well, there is another. Like, dude, this ain't Star Wars. Like, no, literally, there is another. Trust me, we've got like 14 of them left. We got this.
Actually, if there's anyone that's if Master Chief was not the hero of Halo, do you know who it actually would be? Besides Noble Six, there is someone else that's even Master Chief himself has said is better a soldier than he is.
That I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. It's in his actual team. It's one of the other three in his team.
Really?
Yep.
So it's...
In fact, you could actually make the argument it's two members in that team. But there is one in specific that he himself has stated is even better than him.
Well, probably only because... Oh, wow. Look, apparently, I just looked up the color blue. Good job, buddy. Good job. Battles. Kurt?
Nope.
That's the only two that they say are notable. John and Kurt.
Well, Kurt isn't even there anymore. Actually, Kurt's not even one of them. So it's John, Fred.
Or Frederick?
Yeah, they just call him Fred. Kelly and Linda. You'd think it's Fred. You'd really think it's Fred.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna take that back. It would be Kelly.
Nope.
Really?
Linda.
What? Why Linda?
So, Linda is the best marksman in all soldiers of the entire UNSC. There is no better sniper. She is on par with Master Chief in every single other category. But she beats him as being a sniper, apparently, in all known lore of the game. Or lore of the backstories and everything.
Okay, but let's be honest.
There's a story of him saying himself, saying that she is a better soldier than him.
Let's be real though. In all of the adventures that we have played and we've gone through, how often do you snipe?
Not never.
Then she's not a better soldier.
Yeah,
she's definitely.
This is so funny because like everything you do, and then all of a sudden you finally get a game where you truly get to play with her, and if you don't even know that story, you're just like, she's just another random Spartan. But then if you actually like read the books and whatnot, and you hear the story where Master Chief says that she's better than him, you're just like, wait, what?
Yeah, there's no excuse. No, sorry. Your abilities are what matter based off of the environment, and let's be really upfront about that. If you have no need of a sniper and you have need of a frontline soldier who just so happens to not be so good at sniping, that shit don't matter.
If that were the case, you'd actually go with Fred.
Okay, so why Fred?
he's the best leader.
Where do you get off getting it? Hold on. Let's
That's
unpack
also in
this.
the books.
He's
In the
the
books,
best leader.
he's the guy that's apparently that's in. So this is so earlier we were talking about how Fred actually outranks Master Chief, and in truth he does. But here's the weirdness: Fred respects Master Chief so much, he lets him call it. He doesn't give it. He's just like, I don't care. I respect this man so much. He's gonna be in charge, even though I outrank him.
Well,
But
here's the thing is that's the mark of a legend though. Like
yeah, no,
let's say
that's
we were
exactly it.
actually here's a good one for one. Final Fantasy VIII. I know I keep going back to that well, but hear me out. Hear me out on this. Okay. Final Fantasy VIII. You are playing through the entire game as Squall Lionheart, whose effective rank in the entire game, all 52 hours of it, if you play it for 52 hours, he is a sergeant. He is a sergeant. Okay. One of the members of his party outranks him, and she actively gives everybody orders. Quistis, who is an instructor. And they make it very clear that you have to be of a higher rank than a sergeant to be an instructor. They don't tell you what her rank is, but she outranks Squall, and Squall answers to her. He is the hero of the game, and he answers to a member of his own party. So,
Yeah,
what
same,
the fuck is
same
up with,
thing.
the fuck is up with Fred?
Yep.
There's like legend or not, like Squall is a legend in his own game, but Quistis is like, yo fam, like nah, we're not doing that, and Squall's like, yes ma'am. I'm sorry, that's not how that works. Fred would be like, um, so Master Chief, I'm gonna need you to take that hill.
Down. Yeah, take that hill.
And Master Chief is like, how fast you want it done?
Exactly. You know what's funny? That's probably literally what he would respond to. Either that or I got it. It's like
Cortan.
in the Infinite trailer, the guy that he's with that saves him,
Mm-hmm.
the pilot,
Mm-hmm.
he asks him, "I need a gun. This is all I have," and he responds with, "It's enough.
It's enough.
It's enough."
And the dude just looks at him. He's like, wait,
Like what?
what? Like
You got a Magnum, and you're going against a bunch of actual gigantic carriers for the Covenant,
It's
or
all
for
right.
the Banished.
It's like, hey, there was one time I had a bomb. It was a very small bomb, but it was a bomb, and that's all I had. Well, I had an AI with me, which we're now trying to actively kill. Who's actively trying to kill us? Not the point I'm trying to make here, son.
Yeah, imagine this combo.
I had a bomb, and I took out an entire fleet with a bomb. So this gun, this Magnum, it's enough. It just leaves. I could just imagine that pilot just sitting at the cockpit, like going through John's battle files, just like, holy shit, he really did take out an entire with a bomb. I should have given him the monkey wrench.
Make
Made
this
it.
a challenge.
He comes back. All right, we have a landing spot. I clearly no longer have a gun. What else do we have on here? We got a monkey wrench. It's enough.
We've got this nail gun. How's this? It's enough.
It's enough. Comes back like, dude, all we have is a ration. It's enough.
Does it have a spork? All I need is the spork.
Could you imagine the battle record on that, dude?
Oh shit.
The way you said it, it sounds like the bomb was F. No, dude, he literally does though. He takes out an entire fleet with a fucking bomb. Dude. You play through the sequence. You take out an entire fleet. Isn't it like in Halo 2? Like at the very beginning of
I
Halo
don't
2?
think it's. I don't think it's actually one entire fleet. I think it's one super carrier.
That crashes into like the other ships.
I know it takes out at least one other, but I know that's one of the best cutscenes of all time. Like, oh my god, it's so epic.
Because he's standing there with the bomb, and he's like, "Sir, permission to return
Yeah.
the Covenant their bomb," and
Yeah.
the fleet admiral's like, "Permission granted," and he just jumps with this bomb.
Hold on, I'll find it. I'll put a link to it in chat.
It's enough. Yes, absolutely, it's enough, and the chief would make it work. Hold on, let me pull this up, dude, because this, like, we're not shitting when I say he takes out a fleet with a bomb.
Here, I'll put it in your chat, and you can use this link. It's the anniversary one.
Yoink. Let me put this on. It is like the most epic cutscene.
And it's short too.
Ever.
It's like literally just 2 to 3 minutes.
Sir, permission to return to Covenant's bomb. Granted. Jump.
I don't know if this one has him say that part, but it's the cutscene with him actually like doing it.
Hold on.
Don't want to know.
Pyro, this is an Amber class. The carrier shield is down. I'm in position and ready for immediate assault.
Hold on. Let me fix this. Boop. And boop. There we go.
Negative, Commander. Not against a ship that size. Not on your own.
Sir, permission to leave the station.
For what purpose, Master Chief?
To reserve their bomb.
Permission granted.
And he drags it.
I know what you're thinking, and it's crazy.
So, stay here.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy.
Dude, imagine the strength though to pull that thing.
Not even just that. He's at 0 gravity.
Well, not here. Not when he's dragging it, but in a minute he is.
Excuse me, he's in artificial gravity.
Just one question. What if you miss?
I won't.
It's just a ride on a bomb. Okay, let's be honest about this though. This is some Devil May Cry type shit. Both games came out at the same year. And they were like, oh, he's riding around on his enemies. We'll one-up that by making him ride a bomb. He surfs a bomb. Reactivates the timer. And kicks off. Perfect. Oh yeah, and then he lands on a ship.
He flew pretty good.
Chief, get inside. Gear up. We're taking this fight to the surface.
For a brick, he flew pretty good. Gotta love him. Gotta love him. My man.
Freaking Johnson.
He's rolling. Oh, dude.
When Sergeant Johnson goes, ah, he flew pretty good. Oh my god,
For
so
a brick.
fun.
For a brick, he flew pretty good. Like, yeah. That's fire right there. Actually, okay, so I'm really kind of sad that they didn't make Sergeant Johnson a Spartan.
Well, I mean, he's dead.
Oh, that's right, he died in 3, right?
Yeah, he dies in 3.
Yeah, okay.
Spoilers, but if you haven't played that by this point in time, that's your
No,
own
I
fault.
played 3. I just haven't played
I
5.
meant that for like anyone else. I know you've played it.
They could resurrect him. They've been cloning people. He could come back.
He was vaporized.
Doesn't mean they didn't clone him. They could have. I mean, he's a man. He's got DNA somewhere.
You can
Also,
play as him in Halo Wars 2.
but like, why would I want to? He's not a Spartan.
They give him a mech suit. It's actually sick. He might be actually one of the best leaders in the game.
Okay. Take that L, man. I will. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I'm gonna take that L.
I love him though. He's my the Halo fanatic best friend I have. Sergeant Johnson's his favorite character.
Sergeant Johnson is awesome though.
He's so awesome. So awesome.
Also, since we're, you know, making a whole bunch of people Spartans, um, Commander Keith, not Commander Keith, the new captain of the Infinity. What's his name?
I honestly don't know what his name is.
Which is really sad because he had an entire TV show to himself. That's fucked up. We need to find out what this man's name is. Also, I really liked his TV show. I thought the TV show was pretty good. Also, good job on them for like the whole TV show. You have an entire TV show, and then the chief shows up at the very end of it. You're like, yeah, dude, that's fire.
Oh, there's something very crazy about Johnson. I forgot. Johnson is there was a mission. I can't remember where it was that ended up being infested by the flood, and Sergeant Johnson was literally the only human to make it out.
That makes sense. That actually makes sense. Given just um, given the way that he handles himself when he sees the come or well sees the flood in the first game, like he's not surprised.
Yep.
He's like, oh, okay, well, just another Tuesday. Let's get to work.
His cutscenes of teaching soldiers is so amazing too. Some of the shit he says to newbies.
If you think, well, depending on how you um, how much military experience one does or does not have, that's kind of normal, honestly.
No, it is. Yeah, it's very normal.
My dad was a drill sergeant, and he did not turn that off when he came home. I was kind of like, yo, bro, like, I'm 5. I shouldn't be doing this many push-ups. Hold on a sec. Let's see if that's my roommate. Hold on right quick. I thought somebody knocked on my door. Forgive me. Actually, ooh, it's almost 12 o'clock. I gotta get up in 6 hours. Alright, guys. This has been legit fun. We should do this like at least once a Saturday, once a month. But I gotta go. So I gotta get up here in 5 hours and then drive about 30 minutes so I can help my brother get the rest of his stuff out of his house. So I will catch up with you kids later.
Take it easy, good sir.
You guys do the same. Don't work too hard, nerd. Make sure you take some time for yourself. Other than that, you guys be well, be easy, and I will see you all later.